The following show is brought to you by the CANUCKLEHEADS Broadcasting Company, eh? All right, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the CANUCKLEHEADS Show. My name is Frankie, and I'm from the New West Reset channel.
And I'm Chris over at Old World Exploration.
How you doing there, buddy?
Summer chugging along, doing all right, actually. Doing all right these days.
The dog days of summer.
It is, yeah.
We were talking before we went live. A decent summer up here in Canada land this summer. A nice mix of warm weather and rain, so it's keeping the fires down. It's keeping everything green, and yeah, it's been pretty good. Pretty good. I'll take it. Of course, now that I've said there hasn't been many fires, I've just jinxed it. Put the kibosh on the whole thing.
Yeah, you won't be allowed to hike in the woods.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
It feels like a pandemic era spillover. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. Just lock yourself in your home. You'll be fine. Just binge watch Netflix crap.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
I don't know. So what are we covering here today, pal? What is we episode 17, right?
Yeah, 17. This is a gem, definitely. We're covering the nation's capital today, Ottawa.
Ottawa, Ontario.
Yeah.
Yes, the capital. It's the capital of Ontario, and it's the capital of Canada.
Is it the capital of Ontario?
Pretty sure. I'm gonna
now I
gotta look it up.
I'm not questioning your knowledge of geography, but I think maybe not.
you may have got me there. Oh, it's Toronto.
I thought so.
Really?
So.
Damn those Torontonians.
Chalk one up for BC on that one.
Yeah, there you go. Chalk one up for Chris over in British Columbia land. Oh, I've got a couple of comments. Chris, your volume is a bit low.
Oh boy, let me see if I can fix that.
You sound good on my end, but I got headphones on, so that makes a lot of difference.
All right, I'm cranking it up. Did that change anything, folks? That's as high as she goes.
Just gotta get right close to the mic, eh? Like right in their ear, eh?
Yeah, I'll put it right next to my teeth.
Put it right in your beard. Oh, much better. Much better.
All right, back down a tad now. Back down a tad.
Back down a tad. They're just messing with you is what it is.
I think so. Yeah.
So as usual here, we've got a great show for you. We always have a good time on the CANUCKLEHEADS Show, exploring, a couple of Canadians exploring Canada and sharing it with all of you from all over the realm. So thank you very much for joining us. If you're new here, first of all, thank you very much. Welcome. Really appreciate it. Please make sure you go over and, do all the things with both of our channels, like
channels, yeah.
Share and all that. Subscribe if you're new, and make sure you still subscribe too. You might think you're subscribed, but there's been some YouTube shenanigans as of late.
I just got a text from Steph. She watches a lot of our stuff. She says she's blocked from the chat. Interesting.
Stephanie, Babylon Fox?
That's the one.
She's not blocked on mine. She shouldn't be anyways. That's not good.
Either. No,
let me just jump into my studio here just real quick to see if she shouldn't be. If somebody's blocked Babylon Fox, oh man, that is not good. I don't like that. I don't like it one bit. That's not cool. Don't do that. I'm not seeing anything here, but
that's
not
probably
good.
YouTube doing the YouTube thing.
Yeah, YouTube being YouTube. Great. Oh, you know how it goes. So as mentioned, if you're new to either of our channels, this is what season 2 now of the Knuckleheads, episode 17.
Yes, it is the sequel.
Ottawa, Ontario. And generally what happens is the first half of the show, we kind of get into some of the official narrative and try to poke some holes, put some chinks in the armor, which is usually not that tough to do. And then we take a mid-show break, and when we come back after about a 5-minute break or so, during that 5 minutes, we usually show an older video from whatever area we're covering. So I found some cool footage of Ottawa from, I think it's from the 30s.
Oh,
and then when we come back, Chris has got a magnificent file of old world photos from Ottawa.
Yeah, I found a lot of demolished buildings. So found a treasure trove of a website. I'll share the website too. It is in the show notes as well on my end. I think it'll be on Frankie's probably as well. But yes,
Yeah, I'll put, all the links will be in the description below for both of our channels.
Hey, can I do a shameless plug here, Frankie, before we go any further?
What are you asking me for? It's our show. Of course you can there, bud.
Well, want to share my screen? That's the new book. The 3rd volume of Demolished Buildings is published. It has been released. And I wanted to throw that out there for anyone who enjoyed the first 2, or if you haven't seen any of my books on demolished buildings from North America that either mysteriously vanished in a fire or urban renewal took them. They're way more than you probably think. And so I just wanted to throw that out there before we go any further. Public service announcement.
You got to plug that stuff, man. Those books are great. Excellent coffee table books. I have your first 2.
Thank you, sir.
And I actually bought a second copy of your first one, and I gave it to, who did I give that to? I gave it to a buddy of mine, I think, who's into old architecture.
Oh, yeah. And they are friendly that way for people that aren't necessarily into the old world stuff. They're a nice entry point for people to scratch their heads with a little WTF moment and be like, hold on a second, castles all over North America?
Yeah, I thought they always, it's always, Canada and the United States, North America, they didn't have castles. Only Europe had castles.
Yeah.
Really? So what's that? And what's that? And what's that over there? You got a book full of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So please links links below for Chris's books and all of his that's the 3 books. And you had another project as well that you worked on, didn't you?
Yeah, we did a book last year with John and Melissa Reiser.
That's it.
On there.
Yeah, that's the one.
Just talking about all sorts of interesting theories and letting the mind wander a bit, and a little bit of exposing some of the false history that's right in front of our faces, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get the ball rolling, again, just make sure you do all the things, all the YouTube things, and howdy to everybody on YouTube and on Rumble. And let's say hello to everybody in the chat here before we get the ball rolling. Julianne is here. Says, I love it when it's near my place. Nothing makes sense over here either. From Longueuil, Montreal. Montréal. In Quebec, la belle Provence. Bonjour, mon ami. And if you're local, if you're from the Ottawa area, please don't hesitate to jump in. Realm Dweller over on Rumble. Good to see you there, bud. KK Westbury is here. My favorite Canucks. Oh, shucks. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're too kind. Thank you. Kathy Broughton is here as well. Howdy, Kathy.
Hey.
Sunny Kim, hello. Good to see you. Lewis Sharp is here as well. Confused Cobra. How you going there, bud? Barrick is here. The Dudes and Alex Anderson. Thanks for turning up, everybody. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate all the support. There's Stephanie. Not blocked on this account.
Hey.
See, Steph knows how to do it. You have to have multiple accounts.
That's right.
It's unfortunate, but that's how you got to do it. You know what? Jenny Bear loves dolphins. How could you not?
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Hahn is here as well. Hello, hello. Good to see you.
Oh, fix my voice. How does this sound better?
That was kind of sexy. I'm not going to lie.
I'll just keep talking like this then.
I'll do the same thing. Calvin's here. Howdy, Calvin. And have bliss. Hello, hello. And Battlestar Utarian. Good to see you, bud. Hello, hello. So what do you say we get started and just look on the maps on the goggle machine here and just see where we're talking about here? So I'm sure most people know where Ottawa is, but you never know.
Don't be so sure.
I don't want to make assumptions there, eh?
No, it's geography time. Let's do it.
It's geography time. Where are we here? There we go. Let's get the maps. So right underneath Quebec, right down here, there's Ottawa, basically right on the border. On one side of the river is Ottawa, and the other side is Hull, Canada's twin cities. Hull, Quebec here, Ottawa, Ontario here. So we're going to be looking in this area here. There's the Ottawa River. Then, of course, we have the famous Rideau Canal right here that runs behind Parliament Hill. And I'm sure a lot of people are very familiar with the Canadian Parliament buildings. So this is where we are going to be having a peekaboo at here for the show. Gway Nidap. Good to see you. Old World Mi'kmaq in the box. So let's see what Wikipedia says first and foremost here. I like to go with Wikipedia because that's what most of the normies use for their reference material. It's quick and easy, right? Let's just see what Wiki says. And I find that it's just fraught with all kinds of contradictions, wacky stories. And sometimes you got to read it kind of carefully because you might just sort of glance over some stuff and it's like, wait, whoa, go back there. Wait a minute there. So Ottawa is the capital city of Canada land. It's located in the southern portion of the province of Ontario at the confluence of the Ottawa River and the Rideau River. And they're calling it a Rideau River, but really it's the canal. Ottawa borders Gatineau, Quebec, and forms the core of the Ottawa-Gatineau census, blah, 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 blah. As of 2021, Ottawa had a city population of 1,017,000, roughly, and a metropolitan population of almost 1.5 million, making it the fourth largest city and the fourth largest metropolitan area in all of Canada land. So Ottawa's a lot bigger than you would think for some reason. Not really sure. Sandra Mars says, I lived on Bank Street. There you go.
Oh, I've got some shots of Bank Street.
Utarian says the wiki woo woo. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what it is. It's the wiki. It's the wiki. You know what it is? It's this.
I don't believe you.
It's basically what it is.
Yep.
All right. So Ottawa's the political center of Canada land and the headquarters of the federal government. The city houses numerous foreign embassies, key buildings, organizations, institutions of Canada's government. These include the Parliament of Canada, Supreme Court, residence of Canada's Viceroy, Office of the Prime Minister. Also, the Royal Canadian Mint is there as well. Founded in 1826 as Bytown. What a terrible name.
Yeah. Oh,
and incorporated as Ottawa in 1855. Its original boundaries were expanded through numerous annexations. That's usually the case. They swallow up all the other neighboring towns, villages, and hamlets, and so on and so forth. The city name Ottawa was chosen in 1855 in reference to the Ottawa River, whose name itself is derived from the Algonquin Odawe, meaning to trade. In modern Algonquin, the city is known as Adawag. Early history: the Ottawa Valley became habitable around 10,000 years ago.
Oh, thanks for that.
roughly, give or take a decade or two, maybe, let's say, right? Give or take a decade. Following the natural drainage of the Champlain Sea. Oh, yes. Yes, that big inland sea that doesn't show up on any old maps, but old maps also don't show the Great Lakes. So that's already a little bit of a hinky situation. So they find, arrowheads and old tools and pottery there. They say that the first settled area about 6,500 years ago, 6,500 years ago. It's mostly Algonquin, Indigenous Canadian First Nations. There's also Ojibwe and Ottawa and other First Nations peoples. In 1610, Etienne Brulé became the first documented European to navigate the Ottawa River, passing what would become Ottawa on his way to the Great Lakes. 3 years later, Samuel du Champlain wrote about the waterfalls in the area and about his encounters with the Algonquin people. And the first non-Indigenous settlement in the area was created by Philemon Wright. Quite the handle there, buddy. Philemon.
Nice name.
He was a New Englander. What's that?
I like that name, Philemon.
Philemon? Philemon? I'm going to go with Philemon. I don't even know. Wright founded the lumber town in the area on March 7th, 1800. Right on the nose, 1800.
Oh, yeah.
On the north side of the river, across from the present-day city of Ottawa in Hull. So he didn't found Ottawa or create Ottawa at all. He created Hull.
Yeah.
Not Ottawa. What about the guy who's first in Ottawa? I guess we're going to skip over that guy. There's Wrightstown, of course. They're going to name it after that guy. The Ottawa Valley Timber Trade.
Yeah, of course.
It's all about the timber and the beaver pelts.
Timber, but they're going to build with stone and brick.
Yeah, all the old buildings that we're going to see in your segment of the show are going to be stone and brick or both. But apparently, no, they got to cut down them trees. In 1826, news of the British military's impending construction of the Rideau Canal led to land speculators founding a community on the south side of the Ottawa River. Hence Ottawa. And then later, Kingston and so Kingston.
So it was the canal that supposedly created the city.
Yes, because when people found out, the British military's, what do they call that? The engineering corps are going to build that canal. So then all of a sudden people are like, what if a canal's going in there? That's where I'm going to build my house.
Yeah.
Apparently. I don't know about that, but anyways. So Colonel By set up military barracks on the site of today's Parliament Hill. He also laid out the streets of the town and created two distinct neighborhoods named Upper Town, west of the canal, and Lower Town, east of the canal, similar to Upper and Lower Canada.
Yeah. Sounds like a ripoff.
Yeah, this guy's just a copycat. Bytown's population grew to 1,000 people as the Rideau Canal was completed in 1832. Now, that's really early on in Canada's history in terms of Europeans coming and populating. Prior to that, it was, there was the fur trappers, so we're told, and maybe some French Catholic missionaries. But, the official story doesn't really give us much. So 1832 is pretty early, at least for up here.
And that's
Bytown's early
6-year project too. I think they said they're speculating on building the canal in 1826. It looked like it didn't take them long.
Yeah. I mean, and that canal is huge. So, if they whack that out from the planning stage to completion in 6 years,
they were better men than we are back then.
I just, all I can say is,
right.
So Bytown's population grew after the canal was completed. Early pioneer period saw Irish labor unrest during the Shriners. I thought that's the Shriners for a second.
Yeah.
The Shriners War. A 10-year war, the Shiners were violent outbreaks in Bytown between Irish Catholic immigrants and French Canadians. Great.
Ooh,
You know,
fiery.
and the weird thing is that the majority of French Canadians then and now are also Catholic. So why are Catholics fighting Catholics?
It was about what they drink, not what they believe.
Who knows?
Wine versus beer.
That's right. Red wine versus whiskey.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So they had this Shriners War for 10 years, and they also had political dissension in the Stony Monday riot. So, but these are mostly peaceful demonstrations. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. In 1855, Bytown was renamed Ottawa and incorporated as a city. William Pittman Lett was installed as the first city clerk, serving from 1844 to 1891. Wow.
That's a long 10-year.
No kidding. Guiding Ottawa through 36 years of development, leading the hiring of key municipal roles, founding civic organizations, and proposing a set of bylaws for the city. So he was basically calling the shots, and he was just installed. Nobody voted for that guy. Somebody just said, hey, you're in charge, bub.
Tyrant. Must have been a tyrant.
Probably. The selection of Ottawa as a capital city predates the Confederation of Canada. So before Canada even became a country, they had already selected the capital city and where it was going to go.
That is really interesting. Let me just share quickly. I'm going to do a video on Madison, Wisconsin this week, and the same story applies to Madison as the capital of Wisconsin. They made it the capital before it was a city. So interesting parallel there.
Well, here they're making Ottawa the capital of the country before we were even a country. We're still a colony. We're still a province of Britain, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. The choice was contentious and not straightforward, with the Parliament of the United Province of Canada holding more than 200 votes over several decades in an attempt to settle on a legislative solution on the location of its capital. The Governor General of the province designated Kingston as the capital in 1841. However, the major population centers of Toronto and Montreal, as well as the former capital of Lower Canada, Quebec City, all had people that said, hey, we want this to be the capital. In 1849, after an orange mob burned the Parliament building in Montreal, fantastic, several votes were held on a permanent location. Kingston and Bytown were again considered potential capitals. However, the winning proposal was for two cities to share capital status, and the legislature would alternate sitting in each, Quebec City and Toronto.
That sounds like a mess.
No kidding, right? What a cluster F. In a policy known as perambulation, never even heard of that. Logistical difficulties made this an unpopular arrangement. Yeah, you don't say.
You'd think.
And in 1856, a vote was passed for the lower house parliament to relocate permanently to Quebec City. However, the upper house refused to approve the funding. Anyways, a bunch of shenanigans go on. And finally, Ottawa was chosen as the capital in 1851 for two primary reasons. First, Ottawa's isolated location, surrounded by dense forest far from the Canadian-U.S. border and situated on a cliff face, would make it more defensible from attack. Yeah, because them Yankees were constantly coming over here and attacking us. God bless you, you Americans. Secondly, Ottawa was on the border between Canada West and Canada East, making it the selection an important political compromise. Yeah, why don't you just do that from the outset?
Yeah, where was the voice of reason this whole time?
Well, the voice of reason finally came when Queen Victoria selected the city as the permanent capital for the province of Canada. Oh, hello, loyal subjects, I say. We are your rightful ruler and monarch, and we now have decreed that Ottawa shall be the nation's capital. Now, good day. Once the Queen put the foot down, that's that, I guess.
She was everywhere back then.
Oh, yeah. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting Queen Vicky back in the day, I tell you what.
Yeah.
So then, of course, post-Confederation, in other words, once Canada became Canada, it just boomed.
Which is 67, right? 1867 isn't that when
Yeah,
Confederation happened?
a little bit before that. It's actually started in the 1850s when you had a lot of,
Okay,
robber barons, which were mostly lumber barons and some
apparently.
railroad barons.
Yeah, of course.
Then you had the building of the Transcontinental, which basically was spearheaded from Ottawa.
Hmm.
Ottawa was the only city in Canada whose downtown streetlights were powered entirely by electricity in 1885.
Well, that's early.
And then in 1889, the government developed and distributed 60 water leases to mainly local industries, which gave them permission to generate electricity and operate hydroelectric generators. So if you had a big company, let's say you had a cotton mill or some kind of, lumber mill or something, you could install your own hydroelectric generator on the falls.
Hmm.
You didn't have to use, some kind of municipal or private water generating electric generating water device. You could install your own.
Yeah.
Which I guess also, by the main narrative, would contribute to the boom.
Yeah.
Public transportation began in 1870 with horse car system. There's the horse-drawn trolleys.
Love it.
That's stupid. Overtaken in the 1890s by a vast electric streetcar system that operated until 1959. That's also early for electric trolleys and trams.
Yeah.
Especially up in Canada land. 1890s, quite early on. The Hull, Ottawa fire of 1900 destroyed 2/3 of Hull, including 40% of its residential buildings and most of the buildings of its largest employers along the waterfront. It began as a chimney fire in Hull on the north side of the river. But due to wind, it spread rapidly throughout the widespread wooden buildings in Ottawa and destroyed about 1/5 of the buildings from such and such flats to Booth Street down blah, 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 blah. The fire had a disproportionate effect on the West End lower income neighborhoods. Ain't that always the way? It also spread amongst many lumber yards, a major part of Ottawa's economy. The fire destroyed approximately 3,200 buildings and caused an estimated $300 million in damages in 2020 money. An estimated 14% of the Ottawans were left homeless. So the fire was so intense and it was so windy that it blew the sparks across the Ottawa River from Hull to Ottawa.
I feel like that's the first time I've ever heard a great fire narrative in any city anywhere.
Yeah, of course it's the first time you've heard it.
First time. It doesn't happen very often, does it?
Oh, wow, man. On June 1st, 1912, the Grand Trunk Railway opened both the Chateau Laurier Hotel, what a beauty, and its neighboring downtown Union Station, another beauty. And on 3rd of February 1916, the center block of the Parliament buildings was destroyed by yet another fire. The House of Commons and Senate were temporarily relocated to the recently constructed Victoria Memorial Museum, now the Canadian Museum of Nature, an old castle.
Yep.
Until the completion of the new center block in 1922. The centerpiece of the new Parliament buildings is a dominant Gothic revival-styled structure known as the Peace Tower. And then it goes on into post-WW2 boom, 50s and so on, just like in the good old US of A, the post-war boom. So there's your official story from the Wikipedia for Ottawa. But I found a couple of interesting things here while we're on the subject of the Parliament buildings in Capitol Hill there in Ottawa. This is from senateofcanada.ca website. And
that sounds official.
It's very official, so you know it's real. This is the Two Towers, Uncovering Center Block's Lost Foundations. This is from February of 2021. But they've been working on and off for, I think, over 5 years now with what they're calling rehabilitating the Capitol building. They're doing renovations, which they seem to be doing all the time. They'll do it for 5 or 10 years, then they'll leave her be for 5 or 10 years, and then, we got to go back and fix that up now, bud. So get this, in February 2019, the Senate moved to the Senate of Canada building, a former train station built in 1912. The Senate will occupy this temporary location while Parliament's center block, the Senate's permanent home, is rehabilitated. What, are they going to send it to jail? Although the center block is shuttered for rehabilitation work, Canadians can still experience its art and architecture through the Senate's immersive virtual tour. Yeah,
Oh,
blah, blah,
virtually.
blah, blah.
Love it. Virtual tour.
Yeah. Those, I'm always kind of, I don't know. I'm wary of those virtual tours too, because you know that they're just going to leave out stuff, and it's not like there's a tour guide that you could put on a spot and ask questions.
No, exactly.
On February 3rd, 1916, that's a third date now of a fire. Flames engulfed center block, raced up the landmark Victoria Tower. As the clockwork bells struck midnight, the spire came crashing down. Oh, so dramatic. At the stroke of midnight, as the bells were tolling, it caught fire and burnt to the ground. By the way, stone and brick building, because we all know they're highly, highly flammable.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing goes up like a brick and stone building.
Well, flint. They're all made of flint rock, right? So.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's how you start fires. That's a good explanation, bud. Nice. Careful, somebody will steal that and put that in the official narrative. It's all flintstone.
That's right.
The next day, engineers assessed the smoldering ruins. The Library of Parliament had miraculously survived, but the rest of the structure was beyond salvaging. By September of that year, center block had been torn down, and the last traces of the first tower to grace Parliament Hill disappeared. A little over a century later, excavation work has uncovered vestiges of the original structure where the Peace Tower now stands, the limestone foundation of Victoria Tower. So there's a photo of it there. The rediscovery of Victoria Tower's foundation came during the biggest heritage rehabilitation project in Canadian land's history, and the building's first comprehensive upgrade since it was constructed in the wake of the 1916 fire. Queen Victoria had selected Ottawa as the nation's permanent capital in 1858, and in 1867, the Mother of Confederation signed into law the bill that made Canada a country in its own right.
The Mother of Confederation. I like that.
Yeah, she's the grandmother of Europe, the Mother of Confederation. She had a lot of nicknames, old Vicky. A lot of nicknames. Hey, Mark.
Hey.
He says, I start my grill with brick and stone because it's highly flammable. Yeah, if you're going to cook some ribs on your grill, that's the best thing to do is throw some bricks in there. You'll flash cook them. You'll cook them in half the time.
Very high heat. Very high heat.
So the Victoria Tower, topped with a crown-shaped turret, honored Canada's Queen. When its spire was completed in 1873, the tower soared to a height of 55 meters, dominating Ottawa's skyline. That's about 130 feet, roughly, I think.
That's early to 1873.
Yeah. So here's them messing around here. So they're going to do some 3D scanning. On any archaeological dig, there are two options: preservation in situ or preservation by record. For the old Victoria Tower, there's no option but preservation by record. A huge effort goes into recording the foundation for historical record purposes, including photographs, drawings, written descriptions, mapping, and 3D scanning. So they're not going to leave it there. Even though it's been buried somehow, mudflood maybe, they're going to have to dig it out for whatever reason, even though the new Parliament buildings, we're told, are built on the original foundation of the old one that burnt down. So I don't know what they're doing.
Weird.
Bunch of clowns. But anyways, links for that below. And from the same website, sendcanada.ca, there's another interesting article here. It's basically along the same lines. Archaeologists sift through layers of history to uncover Parliament Hill's secrets. Also from 2019. Before there was a Senate, a House of Commons, or a Centre Block, what we know as Parliament Hill was a military camp perched above an enormous excavation that would become Ottawa's Rideau Canal. Archaeologists scouring the site in preparation for upcoming rehabilitation work on Centre Block are uncovering remarkable reminders of the hill's pre-Confederation past.
Oh, yeah.
The rehabilitation of the Centre Block, an overhaul covering everything from deteriorating plumbing and ventilation systems to accessibility and earthquake readiness, is the building's first significant upgrade in nearly 100 years. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. The Senate relocated, yada, yada, yada. Okay, archaeologists began excavating the Parliament Hill site in April of 2019. What they are uncovering is remarkable. The remnants of a military complex of soldiers' quarters, ammunition magazines, and stone houses surrounded by 3-meter-high log fence that dates from the years when Ottawa was known as Bytown. The foundations of barracks and a guardhouse have emerged on the east side of Centre Block, close to the Senate chamber. Artifacts unearthed here, including pins, regimental buttons, and cap badges, paint a vivid picture of military life in the mid-1800s.
Yeah, I was
Other
going to
finds
say
in-
that too. They found any dinosaur bones?
Dead dinosaurs. Now, you got to come out here to the Alberta Badlands to find dead dinosaurs,
That's right. Yeah.
or go down into Montana, or to the La Brea tar pits in California, I guess. Other finds include pottery, dominoes, chess pieces, ceramic pipes, coins, liquor bottles. Oh, of course, you could have some beer and some whiskey there, eh, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
Even a ceramic chamber pot. That's what
Ooh.
people used to go pee-pee in at night, so they
Gross.
didn't have to get up out of bed and go down to the outhouse.
That's gross.
Fascinating mementos of the daily lives of the occupants. So, real quick here, they found this... it's the shape of a lion's head. It's a pin for a military cap.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of weird that it's a lion.
Hmm.
Then these clay pipes that are found buried everywhere in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are found in the Netherlands, in Germany, in the States, in Canada, in the UK. You name it, man. They find these clay pipes everywhere. Oh, here's a little bell. And then this is a button. It looks like a coin, but they say it's a button.
Is that the chamber pot? Oh, no, it's a teapot. It's a teapot.
That's a teapot. They're not going to show the chamber pot because that's rude.
That's gross.
But here's what they're finding. It's crazy. Once we've excavated, there's no way we can put the site back to the way it was, so it's important to keep detailed records at every step. Blah, 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 blah. As many as 30 archaeologists have been measuring, mapping, and excavating the site layer by layer. We use hand tools like trowels, scraping away the layers until we expose what's underneath. Okay, so why is it buried, though? Can you tell us that there, archaeologists?
Yeah.
Why is it buried beneath layers and layers?
Shovels.
They don't want to say mudflood. Then we use sieves to sift through what we've unearthed, all the artifacts recorded and labeled so we know exactly where they came from. It's a painstaking process. Between 1827 and 1858, Parliament Hill was known as Barrack Hill. Somebody's car alarm. Hey, turn that off. We're trying to do a show here, buddy. Sorry about that, folks. Thank you. So it was known as Barracks Hill and served as military quarters for the British Royal Sappers and Miners Corps. The War of 1812 had concluded more than a decade earlier, but the threat from the United States lingered. Oh, them crazy Americans. Lieutenant Colonel John By, for whom Bytown was named, was in charge of reconstructing a 200-kilometer canal connecting the Ottawa River to Lake Ontario. 200 kilometers, sorry, canal. That's like, that's what is there, 2.2 miles in a kilometer?
Oh, man, I can't remember. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Is that 6-year window we talked about?
Yep.
They had to, okay, yeah.
Yep.
200.
He had nearly 4,000 laborers at his disposal, though. So yeah, no problem.
It's a good sized city back then. 4,000.
The guardhouse, built in 1827, served a number of functions, staying up some main energy, yada yada. The ground floor initially housed Ottawa's first jail, and the upper floor converted to a hospital years later. Once construction of the canal was completed, the military camp wound down. Bytown was renamed Ottawa. Most of the military buildings were demolished as construction began on the Parliament buildings. Then excavations began in the fall of 2019, and they're still yanking stuff up today. One of the things they also found was a piece of burnt timber. I can't remember if it was on this article or the previous one. But they found a piece of timber down by the original foundation, stone foundations. But that supposedly, those foundations were from when they were military barracks. It wasn't Capitol buildings yet. So now we're talking 4 fires between, 1826 and 1912. Four flipping fires, man.
I got another fire in my file too, so that'll make 5.
Really? Are you kidding me?
No joke. No joke.
That's impossible!
Maybe they're all the same fire.
It could be. Maybe they all started in Hull and jumped over the river because of the wind.
The flames leapt over the river.
I'm going to quickly breeze through this article, and then I've got a couple of kind of fun ones to kind of finish out the segment here. This next one, again, has to do with Parliament. Maybe it's this one that they talk about timber. They found scorched and burnt timbers. First Parliament site, people strolling along in front of blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay.
Wait. Is that a
1990
computer? Sorry.
I'm just skipping past all the stuff that we already know, that they've already told us.
I'm just looking at the picture there. Go ahead. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
This picture here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a computer reconstruction of the Parliament fire. Look at this. It's ridiculous. Take a picture of the building, and then we'll just put in some CGI fire. So it was possible to peek underneath the pavement. One would find an impressive relic of our national history, Upper Canada's first and second Parliament buildings, 1797 to 1824. Now that is also very early, 1797. Although the land overlying the Parliament site has been used for private and industrial purposes for over a century, historians have always been aware of the area's importance. Indeed, the Canadian Club had commemorated the Parliament buildings with stone tablet on this property in 1899, and almost a century later in 1997.
Would that be Canadian Club the whiskey?
No, the Canadian. That's a good whiskey.
Sorry.
It's a damn good whiskey.
Yeah. That's all I was thinking when you said it.
Sonny Kim says, "Me shivers be timbered." me timbers be shivered.
Yeah.
Scottish start another fire.
This is 5. Yeah, this is 5.
5 now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Built between 1795 and 1797, the brick structures of Upper Canada's first Parliament buildings housed what would eventually become Ottawa's legislature. 2-year build on the eventual Ottawa's legislative buildings. Sadly, these buildings were destroyed by American troops in 1813. Yes, the War of 1812. In response, British troops, along with Canadians, invaded the U.S. and eventually burnt down their Capitol building.
Oh, that one.
In retaliation in 1890. You burn down ours, we'll burn down yours, because 2 wrongs make a right.
Tit for tat. That's right.
That's what you get. You come up, hey, bud, you come up here, and you mess with us, we'll mess back with you there, buddy. So hokey. Although the south wing was saved from complete destruction, it was decided not to rebuild, and the property was abandoned until 1838 when construction began in the home district. Since then, the site has been used as a gasworks and various small-scale automotive companies. So they doing some investigations with their archaeology. And it took the form of 3 trenches dug in areas of high potential based on historic documentation and archival research. Trench 2 is richest in terms of archaeological evidence and is believed to have uncovered the east wall of the southern building of the first Parliament buildings. I thought they said it burnt down and then they tore it down. Our analyses of historic building techniques discovered that the structural remains located in the trench were typical of late 18th and early 19th century construction methods. In fact, the footings uncovered at the Parliament site follow similar construction methods as the footings of certain late 18th century buildings at Fort York Garrison, which is a star fort. Along with indicating their date of construction, this corroborates the archival evidence of military involvement with the construction of the first Parliament buildings. Even more startling was discovered, there it is, of charred floor joists and floorboards overlying soil that had been rendered by fire, probably remnants of the American military visit. So the stone got burnt down, but the wooden floor survived. Just got charred up a little.
I like how they're affirming what they already knew. Like it, basically, they may as well just say it bolsters the historical narrative.
Yeah,
it all adds
yeah.
credence to the narrative that we're trying to portray.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there you have it. They found charred wood floor joists and floorboards, but all the stone and brick and whatnot completely obliterated. So figure that one out. Yikes. Anyway, the last couple here are these are kind of fun ones because I was like, wait, what? I'd never heard of this. So this first one here is from Ottawa Rewind, which is an online magazine. This is called Ottawa's Island of the Dead. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Me neither. Ottawa's Island of the Dead, situated on the Ottawa River, approximately 18 kilometers northwest of downtown Ottawa, lies a small island with such a haunting past it truly should be called the Island of the Dead. 18 clicks is about, what, 80 miles? A little more, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. 10 miles? Isn't it 1.6?
I don't even know.
Okay, keep going.
I think, are miles smaller or bigger than kilometers? I don't know.
I mean, I have the internet in front of me, but I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah, we can figure it out. That's fine. What lies beneath the sands of this small 1-acre island is a solemn reminder of our area's turbulent ancient past. It reminds us of those that were here, here long before us. Dozens of buried skeletons, weapons, and a mysterious inscribed stone tell a story of violence, ritual, and what I believe is part of extreme archaeological importance, a place of extreme archaeology. So this is written by somebody. So when he says I, it's him, not me. I don't believe that. He does. This seemingly innocuous sand island, 1 kilometer offshore, is often visited, but rarely those that set foot upon its shores fully comprehend what lurks below. There it is, right there. Just a little guy.
Buried again, eh? Always buried.
Our story begins with recent research into the history of Ottawa River, yada, yada, yada. That's fine. Let's get to the meat and potatoes here. So now called Aylmer Island, like Aylmer canned tomatoes. Lighthouse Island is approximately 1 acre in size and made up of an assortment of sand, boulders, and gravel placed there by the last glacial event thousands of years ago, Chris. Thousands.
Uh-huh.
What was discovered by Sauter and others was abundant evidence of individuals wrapped in birch bark and buried 2 to 3 feet below the surface in what was described in his journal as being a recumbent position, which is unusual because the known indigenous burial practice bury the dead in a prostrate position. So recumbent, I think, means laying on your back, but reclined, I believe. There's a picture of the island. This looks really suspicious. Just this big, giant thing in the middle here.
Smells like a cover-up story to me, this whole thing.
Yeah. Soder mentions in his article that many more skeletons were found during construction of a lighthouse on the island, which led him to believe the island was a communal burying ground for more than one race of people. Soder thought that since the burials he found did not align with any known local rituals. There's an 1879 map showing the island here. A large pit was then uncovered that showed dozens of bones thrown haphazardly, thrown into it rather than bodies carefully placed. Also unearthed were iron axes, knives, flints, and porcelain beads. Soder hypothesized that such a large burial pit, so many bones, was likely the site of indigenous Huron tradition called the Feast of the Dead, in which they would bury their deceased, and then the following year they would dig them up and assemble their bones and put them in a mass grave with all the other buried relatives, and then they would have a big party and a big feast to celebrate.
I'm not buying it.
Well, yeah, because this guy even says that that's all fine and dandy, but the Huron did practice this, but the Huron didn't live down this far. So then the guy, it says here, mass reburials of their dead involve transporting remains to a new location outside their villages every 10 years or so. Sometimes many kilometers away from the villages. Bodies would be taken out of their initial graves with the remnants cleaned in preparation for a reburial at this new location, such as the one theorized to be at this island. However, one key element to this theory throws a wrench into the pit, that being that the Huron never resided near the Ottawa River. Oh yeah, the Hurons did it. It must be them. Yeah, but they didn't live here, bud. Soder claims that the Huron may have been given sanctuary in the vicinity of Ottawa by the resident Algonquin people after they were defeated in other regions. So that one guy says, look, there were no Huron people here. And he says, well, the Algonquin probably let them live here. So it's just grasping at straws. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here's some of what they found. Some axe heads, flint stones, so on and so forth. So I just found that very interesting. And they do say that the axes and some of the other archaeological discoveries are not of indigenous descent anyways, or origin anyways. They're probably European. So trying to attribute all this to Hurons and Algonquins doesn't make sense anyways. And they also found the stone with a JPOT inscribed on it. And nobody knows what that means. To this day, they still don't know. And they built 2 lighthouses on it. They built one, and then it got to be too rickety, so they tore it down and built another one, which also kind of sounds hokey to me.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'd never heard that. I was like, wait, what? What? Island of the Dead, you say? And one last one here. How are we doing for time? Coming up on an hour. Okay, we're doing pretty good. This one is called the Phantom Air Raid. This is from the Historical Society of Ottawa. And again, links below for everything. Valentine's Day, 1915. February 14th, 1915. One of the most curious events in Ottawa's history occurred on Valentine's Day night, Sunday the 14th of February, 1915. 6 months after the start of WW1. At roughly 10:30 p.m., the Prime Minister, Sir Robert Borden, received an urgent telephone call from Mayor Donaldson of Brockville, informing him that at least 3 German airplanes had crossed the St. Lawrence River from Morristown, New York. The invaders, apparently seen by scores of Brockville citizens who were returning from Sunday evening church services, had just passed directly over the community, traveling in a northerly direction, presumably towards the capital. One of the planes shone a powerful searchlight on the town, lighting up its main street. Reportedly, the planes dropped fireballs or light balls into the river on the Canadian side of the border. Many Brockville citizens became hysterical. They were hysterical. After receiving the mayor's call, Borden immediately contacted the Canadian militia. Meanwhile, Brockville's chief of police telephoned Colonel Percy Sherwood, commissioner of the Dominion Police, regarding the air invaders. At 11:15 p.m., Sherwood ordered Parliament Hill to be blacked out to avoid giving the raiders an easy target. He was apprehensive about the report of planes, but he decided to just be cautious anyways. They blacked out key government buildings, Victoria Tower, the Parliament, the Royal Canadian Mint, which is usually lit up at night. They blacked out. Rideau Hall, same thing. Basically, everybody went dark. The Governor General's residence, so on and so forth. So despite Ottawa being only 100 kilometers distance from Brockville as the crow flies, aviation experts told the Canadian authorities that it might take until midnight for the invaders to make their way to the capital owing to poor weather conditions, which included low cloud and rain. They recall that planes at that time were lucky to go much more than 100 kilometers per hour under favorable conditions. That's like 66 miles per hour is 100 kilometers per hour. Smith Falls, Perth, and Kemptville, which were on the expected flight path, were alerted and told to keep a sharp lookout, but midnight came and went without any sign of the intruders. Next day, newspapers were full of stories. The Globe's headline screamed, "Ottawa in darkness awaits airplane raid." Aeroplane, look how they say aeroplane. Several aeroplanes make a raid into the Dominion of Canada. Anyways, everybody's going nuts, right? Officials in Ottawa didn't readily believe these reports. The Dominion Observatory reported that the wind that night was consistently coming from the east. Oh yeah, sorry, I skipped ahead here. Sorry, I missed one thing. Guess what they chalked it up to? Because everybody's seeing these planes and they're dropping fireballs.
UFOs? No, that's too early for that.
2 hours, Ottawa City Council debated on a motion submitting yada yada. The view of the possibility of an air raid in the city, while it's instructed to pull down the blinds. Go blackout. Yeah. It's also noted that the alderman frequently absented himself from the debate to climb the City Hall tower to scan the skies for the sight of the approaching planes, so that he could be the first to warn his colleagues to take shelter. When no planes appeared, the people started to look for other explanations. Quickly, suspicion focused on some Morrisontown youths,
yes,
described as village cut-ups, who admitted to having sent up 3 fireworks balloons.
Those kids. Pesky
those
kids.
pesky teenage cut-ups, sending people into a panic during wartime. From the American side of the St. Lawrence River at about 9 p.m., which exploded in the air above Brockville. Giving credence to this story, the remains of balloons with fireworks attachments were subsequently recovered from the ice on the St. Lawrence 2 miles east of town, as well as from the grounds of the Brockville Asylum.
Ooh.
Now called the Brockville Mental Health Center.
That's better.
The reason for sending up the balloons was to commemorate the centenary of the end of the War of 1812. More likely it was a prank aimed at scaring Canadians. Let's scare those dumb Canucks by sending up some fireworks. They'll think it's Germans. It'll be fun.
Obviously, that's what you do if you're a teenager.
Jeez, man. So what really happened on Valentine's Day night? How plausible was the attack on Ottawa? It would not have been the first time that armed raiders had crossed the U.S. border into Canada. There were precedents. Less than 50 years earlier, the Fenians, an Irish extremist group, made a number of military forays into Canada across the U.S. border. Yeah, those filthy Fenians. The Ottawa Journal also claimed that German sympathizers in the United States had contemplated action against Canada during the early days of WW1 in 1914, going so far as to set up training bases in the United States with the objective of making a descent upon Canada to destroy canals and railways before being told to desist by U.S. authorities. All right, now cut that out now, you crazy Germans. Leave Canada alone there. You just leave Canada alone. They're our neighbors to the north, and we're buddies here. We've buried the hatchet. Now, so can you. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
The War of 1812 was 100 years ago. Leave them be. Gregory Boland's just saying, okay. Oh, man. However, an air raid on Ottawa by German sympathizers seems highly unlikely. While on a sharp upward development trajectory, aviation was still primitive in early 1915, the first powered flight having taken place only 11 years earlier. Oh, yeah, the Wright brothers are Kitty Hawk, eh?
That's right.
Even at the front in France, airplanes were then mostly used for reconnaissance. Typical of that era, the British military airplane of the BE-2C could only stay aloft for like 3 hours. So here we go. The most likely explanation is the toy balloon story, combined with a bad case of war jitters. As suggested by one of the newspapers, the searchlight beam that reportedly lit up Brockville could be explained by the fortuitous flash of lightning while the balloons were above the city. However, the fact that the Dominion Observatory was adamant in its view that the wind direction that night fueled fears the bombers were real. Certain modern-day investigators have a whole different explanation. There it is. You called it, Chris, buddy. UFOs.
Yeah.
So make of that what you will, I guess. But that's the story of the Phantom Air Raid over Ottawa on the night of Valentine's Day, 1915. It could have been balloons, it could have been Germans, or it could have been little green men from Mars, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting.
So,
you
yeah.
found some interesting stories, some definite outliers.
I love finding this goofy stuff and then just poking holes in it because it's just
silly.
Look, they say that teenagers put fireworks on balloons and launch them, but then the Royal Ontario Observatory is saying, no, the wind was blowing in the wrong direction, so they wouldn't have blown over here. But everybody's just insisted on it being fireworks, and supposedly they did find remnants of popped balloons with firework bits still attached to them. So there you go. Bob's your uncle. Mystery solved.
Convenient.
I don't know. Just doesn't make any sense to me. So where are we at here? 1 hour and 2 minutes on the schnoz. What do you think? Should we take a 5-minute break or so and then come back and we can dive into your old-timey photo file?
You betcha.
All right. Sounds good to me. So let me cue this up here for everyone. We are going to take a quick break, 4.5 minutes to be precise. 4.5 minute break here. This is a video, Ottawa, 1938. So stick around. We'll be right back, and we'll see you on the other side of 4.5 minutes. All right, everyone? Thanks. Cheers. All right, and we are back. Welcome back, everyone. The Knucklehead Show, episode 17. I'm Frankie from the New West Reset channel.
And I'm Chris over at Old World Exploration.
This is season 2, episode 17 of the Knuckleheads, where a couple of Canadians take you on a little trip around different cities here in Canada. And sometimes a couple of guys will take a road trip too, eh? We'll do, other cities and other parts of the realm as well. So if you have any suggestions for what we should do next, please leave them in the, let us know in the chat or put it in the comments if you're watching this after the fact. Thank you very much for your watching and supporting. And please make sure that you are subscribed and all that to both of our channels and, do all the usual YouTube things. It's greatly appreciated. The top half of the show, we looked at sort of the official narrative in terms of the history of Ottawa. And just to give you a reminder of where exactly we are here, we're in Eastern Canada land here. Ottawa, right on the border between Quebec and Ontario. It's our nation's capital here in the eastern part of the city. A lot of strange stuff in and around this area on the map for sure. So at the top half of the show, I walked you through some of the shenanigans, and now Chris is going to take us on a trip back in time with some extraordinary and jaw-dropping old world structures. Some are still around, and some that are unfortunately long gone. Isn't that right?
Yeah, a lot that are long gone, actually. I heard some people saying that my mic's still low. It's the best I can do, folks. I got it cranked up and I got it chattering against my teeth, so is what it is. Yeah, I found a lot that have been demolished, and it was pretty interesting actually to go through that site that provided all of those locations and how much has been changed in that, mostly in the downtown area of Ottawa.
So let's get it queued up here.
Yeah, I like to start with the demographics. You mentioned at the start of the show the modern day population demographics.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 1.4, the metropolitan area, just over
Yeah.
1 million. Yeah. So we turn the clocks back to the turn of the 20th century. That's as far back as they give us, and we're looking at about 100,000 people in 1901. So not huge by any means, not tiny, but a lot of the buildings you're going to see were said to have been built in the 1870s, 1880s. You got to wonder how many people were said to have been there at the time.
It's probably safe to speculate about half of the 100,000. Probably between 40 and 60,000, let's say.
Yeah, considering the way that bell curve works at the turn of the 20th century in the late 1800s, that everywhere is just exploding population-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I think, have to take into consideration the fact that it's further east.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it seems to be the case here in the Americas that the more easterly you are, the older the settlements were, although that's not necessarily always the case because there were some really old settlements on the west coast of North America too, from the Russians and the British and Spanish. But for the most part, in terms of the main official narrative, yeah, it's the further east you go, the older it is, supposedly.
Yeah.
And therefore the more densely populated, I guess.
This would be Bank Street. I think it came up earlier. Somebody in the chat was saying they lived on Bank Street back in the day.
Yes.
Little
I think that was Sandra, Sandra Marr, I think.
Streetcars here. You get the horses doing their things and the rickety wagons. That's how everybody rolled back then. Literally.
Yeah, but look at that giant dome in the background right there.
Yeah. And then, the stone-faced side of the building here. It's interesting. A lot of stone buildings you're going to see as we move forward here. This is Sparks Street from 1929.
Famous street in Ottawa.
Yeah, giving you that sort of main street front look that we see in so many other cities as well. The ornate decorations, the arched windows, and some treats in the background as well.
Beautiful detail in those arches and the windows there.
Hmm. The old Merchants Bank. I think this one's long gone, but I didn't attach a date to it. I did attach dates where I could. Build date supposedly, and then demolition date. I
What the
like
hell's
this
going on
one.
with the road there?
Yeah, it's a bit wavy looking, isn't it? Kind of
is
comes
that
up.
ice, or
I
is it?
don't know.
Did
Fresh
it
rain.
rain, or did they fudge with the photo, or what's? That's weird.
But yeah, you can see the grade change here, and how the buildings look like they're rooted pretty deeply into whatever's going on down below. Interesting looking street there for sure. And then out front we have some sort of modern contraption, not looking anything like the building that we're seeing here, the Merchants Bank.
Looks completely. It sticks out like a sore thumb, and looks like it just doesn't fit.
Yeah. I did collect a few residential examples as well, and we'll see a few of those.
And don't forget that one big fire of the five in Ottawa,
Of
they
the
say
five.
destroyed over 3,000 buildings, and a lot of them were old world residential buildings like this,
Mm,
estate homes and beautiful stone and brick structures.
that pretty looking home, that's for sure.
That's beautiful. I'd live there in a heartbeat.
Stone wall out front. Yeah.
Do you ever notice, by the way, that a lot of these old homes, whether they were, chateau-esque and quite grand, or whether they were more modest, a lot of them had sunrooms or solariums or
Yeah.
greenhouses, but they were attached to
Hmm.
the home. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people had more of a green thumb pre-reset, and a lot of people didn't necessarily have to go to market to get a lot of their produce. I think they grew a lot of fruit and vegetables in these solariums that they had on their property, and they would only go to market for things that they couldn't grow themselves, or for whatever reason, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it
I
was
mean,
really common back then.
WW2 really changed everything for that too, because even right up to
Yes.
that point, we're told. I mean, people had much more thought to growing their own food. And people are turning back in that direction these days as well, with less and less trust in the powers that be. Nice looking place, this one too. They demolished it in 26, you can see here.
Beautiful conical dome on it.
Yeah, that's no small undertaking to build such a
That's
structure.
that's here in Calgary. That's what we call an estate home. It's on a larger piece of property. It's a little bit more of an opulent home, and it's got sort of that grand curved driveway for your horse and carriage to pull up.
Hmm.
And then it usually has some outbuildings, a stable and a garage for your different wagons or carts. And often in Canada too, the more affluent families would have a buggy or a wagon of some sort, but then also a sleigh
Mm.
for the winter.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, more residential homes. This is interesting too up here. Got a lot of detail going on up here. Doesn't look like a weather vane to me. I love the chimney caps too.
Beautiful.
Mm. Stone though, right? Like this is a fortress here. This is probably burned down. 62, they got rid of it. 1860s to 1962. A church actually didn't retain the name of this church, but it's long gone. You can see here 1874 into the 20s. They got rid of this. Looks pristine even at the time of the photograph, which would
You notice
later.
that the what I'm assuming is the bell tower there on the roof toward the front of the building. It's on an angle. It's on a
Yeah,
45 from the pitch, or the peak of the roof.
that's quite gratuitous in the world of construction to do that. Very difficult in every way possible to build and finish all of that on that angle. That's you'd be flaunting your skills definitely to build in such a way.
Yeah, and you would know all about that. You've got a lot of
Mhm.
building and construction experience.
Yeah, so
Just quickly here, Battlestar Utarian, is the mix of volume better now? Because my mic was louder than yours there, Chris. So now we might be a little bit more evenly matched. Just let me know if the sound is a little more even between the two of us now.
Yeah, I guess we're supposed to clean that up pre-show, but sometimes you don't know until people are actually listening to it. But it could be my
Well, and we
headset
use
too.
different microphones too, right? So,
Mhm. So we're
holy
looking.
moly!
Yeah, I think this is the Gilmore Hotel. Might be Alexandra, but the Gilmore predated the Alexandra. The Gilmore apparently, I think, burnt down. I might have some evidence of that moving forward. Um, yeah, she's a stunner, isn't she? Ooh.
Wow, yeah, that's a beaut. That is what we call a beaut.
And you know what? It looks to me like they've got some wooden sidewalks around her.
Well, because they used up all the stone to build
Yeah,
the buildings.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, they ran out of stone and they went.
Guys, we forgot to leave some stone for those sidewalks and streets. Yeah, but we got these lumber barons here in Ottawa, bud. We could just make wooden sidewalks.
They're just sitting there begging us to use their lumber, begging us. We got to use it for something.
Oh man.
Yeah. And even as you go down here, you got lower windows and a little bit of a grate or some sort of opening going on. Hard to tell, gets grainy as you get closer, but suspicious. Very suspicious. Another street view. We're gonna see a couple. I like to capture these street views.
I love them too, actually, because you get the buildings, the transportation, and the people. So
Hmm.
you get to see kind of the big three, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And of course the tram lines, very prominent. We saw that they started with the horse cars and in the 18. When did they convert to electricity? It was early, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Streetcar.
1889, I think, or
Yeah,
1885
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah.
It
It
was
was
pretty
very
early
early.
on.
Yeah, very early.
Well, they were the first city in Canada land to have electric. So of course they're going to have the first electric tram. All right, guys, you can unhook the horses now. We got electric now.
Yeah,
What are we going to do with all these horses?
yeah. The old Bank
Where
of
did they
Montreal.
where did they stable all the horses that pulled all of the
Well,
trolleys
and
and
then
trams? I wonder.
who's taking care of them all as well, making sure that they're well fed, and that must have been the biggest industry of the time, really.
Because if you've got a fleet of let's be conservative here and say you have 30 tram cars or trolleys or streetcars, whatever you want to call them, and each is being pulled by two horses. So that's 60 horses. Now, can these horses pull those things all day from whenever they start to whenever they're done for the day? I don't know. Let's just say yes. So you got to house, feed, water, and take care of 60 horses. That's a
Jeez.
six-person job or a 10-person job.
Oh yeah, that's an undertaking for sure.
And that's a lot of land and buildings and a lot of horse feed and water and all of that. I mean, it's not like you got like six hamsters and a cat. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly. You got the mansard roofs here. Look at all the dormers just popping out of there. That looks like some sort of fencing going on along the top.
Yeah. And
Very
it's not
ornamental.
enough just to put a regular dormer. You got to have a curved dormer. And then there's one that has a small curve and then one that has a curve with like a wing on either side of it because that's super simple to do.
Yeah.
All the time in the world, I
1872.
guess.
It's
Yeah.
not a large city at that point, and just after Canadian Confederation, and you can see, of course, the lower windows, lots of those. There's a reason they got rid of these.
Not even 60 years.
They needed
They,
another bank, the Bank of Ottawa, this time.
big stonework on the main floor and huge arched entryways. And
And
then
the
again up
neighbor,
top, you know,
yeah, the dormers, and look at the neighboring buildings. Same thing. They're all showing us the same thing. These mansard upper roof dwellings, very ornamental. This stuff, and let's zoom into these folks here. Hmm. Another bank. There it is again. Oh, is that the
another
same one?
good point, Brian. Yeah, plus all the road apples, right? All the horse poop everywhere.
The road apples, that's right. Yeah. This is also the Bank of Ottawa, but certainly not the same bank, as I just checked. So another building with the same designation.
They got to have more than one branch, and each one's got to be as fantastic as the other. Like you can't just
Yeah.
have we'll have our main branch, our flagship downtown branch. Sure, we'll make that one fancy, and then all the outlying neighborhood bank locations can be a little bit less opulent. No, they're going to be one just as fantastic as the other.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is Bank Street again. Don't know the designation of this building. Little corner turret for you. Just going to make all the windows pop out on this one. Give them some bay windows.
Yeah, they're not even flush with the building, so that just takes extra. Because again, you got to engineer the factor that it's got to be able to support its own weight as it protrudes from the side of the building like that.
Yeah, it's supporting the tower, even the little roof. Like that's a lot of weight. I mean, the engineering on these things, which you never hear about the engineers. It's always the architects if there's anything.
Yeah,
Are we to assume that architects and engineers were one and the same back then? There's a lot of assumptions being made. The Bank Street Church, you could see, 1868. This is going way back. Well constructed, out of stone.
and huge.
Even the tower looks to be stone. The whole thing, not a wooden.
Look at the extreme pitch of the angle on that spire too.
Imagine finishing that off. Whew.
Yeah, you got to shimmy your way up there, and you just kind of strapped yourself onto it, and you got to climb up to. I got 3 rivets to go. Please don't fall. Please don't fall.
Yeah, winter's coming. Everything's covered in ice, right? Yeah.
Well, that too. Yeah. Especially in and around the Great Lakes region and the St. Lawrence. I mean, you get that wet, heavy snow and everything does ice up. They get ice storms. It's windy. So your construction, and we talk about this a lot on the Knuckleheads, construction time in Canada, for the most part, from coast to coast to coast, and northern states in the US, you've got to take into consideration that they're not doing any. The only time they're building is from May to maybe October.
October, yeah.
Once the outer part of your building is finished, then you can start doing year-round construction on the inside, your interior stuff. But initially, you're digging your foundation and putting your footings and building your the skeleton or the guts of the building. You can only do that from May to maybe October.
Yeah, on the left here, you get a good sense of what you would expect to see from an early time period, right here on the corner of the photo, and then a couple doors down, you've got this domed building with this statue on top. 2 different civilizations, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the difference is like night and day.
Looks like another bank, British American bank note. Demolished, but don't have the demolition date, but they tell us it was built in 1873.
And it's funny how it just like the building is just there at the end of a street or something, and then there's nothing. There's something, but there's some buildings behind it, but it just stops right there, and then what's left? Dirt. Which bank is it? Oh, you can't miss it. It's the one just before where everything turns to dirt.
Half hidden windows again. It's great on an angle here at this point, almost covering them. We can see them here.
Yeah.
But it looks buried. It looks buried.
A lot of people argue that, well, that's basement and it's to let light into the basement. Okay, well, then later on they get bricked up or boarded up or filled in, which I show all the time on my channel doing boots on the ground. So if you want to build a building according to the mainstream narrative with those goofy low windows to let light into the basement, wouldn't you want to continue to have light in the basement? Like why, what, like now that electricity has been wired in, you can just have light bulbs down there like that. So
That's
then
the
why not
argument.
board up all the windows?
I don't think
You
that's
don't
the
need any
argument.
natural light anymore, It's so stupid.
No, it doesn't look right. Building wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially in climates that have water and snow and all the rest of it. It's not practical.
Yeah, anywhere that gets, more than a foot of snow, when you shovel the snow on the sidewalk, you tend to just kind of pile it up against the side of the building too. So, you're just creating more of a problem once that snow starts to melt.
Yeah, but they had horse-powered snowplows to get rid of it all. So you could shovel it onto the street and the horse-powered snowplows would come out. Yeah.
Horses pulling plows, horses pulling trams that had plows on them.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man.
Yeah. Just that was a quick look at the locks and the bridge. You can see the stonework. We talked about the time frame of the Rideau Canal, 1826 to 1832. 200
200
kilometers.
kilometers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it was like this. You can see on this postcard here all the stonework going on. Major undertaking. Here's the locks right here. Yeah.
200 kilometers is 125 miles, by the way.
It's not nothing, as they say.
No, it's definitely not nothing. And a series of locks, too, not just one set of locks.
Yeah, exactly. The old civic hospital. And oftentimes I think a lot of these get altered and they're on the roots of an older structure. And they do make their changes over time. You can see a few eras that pop up, but I think a lot of the locations are coming from old world structures that have been modified. And
I think a lot of these that existed before the most recent reset were embellished in terms of domes and spires and all of that stuff. But then I think once they were rediscovered and renovated by the Victorians for the most part, the Victorian era, they would do what a buddy of mine, Dave Ebney, called Victorian tart up. They put lipstick on a pig, kind of, right? They put a silk hat on a pig. They tarted it up to make it try to reflect the former glory of the old world buildings. But they couldn't quite do it. That's why when we do see some that remain, like in these old photos and old video footage and film footage, it's so astoundingly beautiful. But it looks more like form and function, whereas some of the new tart ups, it's form without function.
yeah,
If you catch what I'm saying.
yeah, they're losing the that aspect of it. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. ChatGPT says it would take a crew of 4,000 men 60 years to handle that waterway. Well, they did it in 6.
Yeah, and they had 4,000 men apparently.
That's what they told us. Yeah.
Say they forgot to add the 0 in the official narrative. I'll have to go into the Wikipedia and change it from 6 to 60.
Yeah.
They won't let me. Who am I kidding? They're not going to let me. They won't let me change it.
Yeah. We'll see this one a little bit later. This is one of the Parliament. I think they call it the East Bloc. I'm not sure. I'll move on so we'll take a better look at it further on.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are under the impression that the Canadian Parliament building is the one building with the big tall clock tower in the middle that looks like Big Ben, but it's an entire complex of almost a dozen buildings, and they're all exquisite in that quote unquote neo-Gothic style. Right?
And I would imagine they're all connected below ground.
Oh, absolutely. We know that.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were calling these air passages that they were excavating in those articles at the top half of the show. They're calling them air ducts made of stone, but I think they're actually the underground tunnel system.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the old jail we have with Cecil Hotel, very short-lived, as you can see here, 07 to 24. They put some of these little shelters on top. Be a nice place to have a coffee or a whiskey.
Yeah, the old Palliser, well, it still stands. The Palliser Hotel in Calgary here at one time had a rooftop sunroom and terrace, and they would serve high tea up there, but they also had dinner banquets up there. But then they eventually, I think it was in the 20s, they added a couple of floors onto it, and when they did that, they got rid of that beautiful old opulence, of course.
Yeah. The old Central
heck is
Park
that?
Bridge. Yeah, it's an old bridge, 30 years, short-lived. Nice looking structure. Got all.
I've never seen a bridge like that before.
That'd be a
Wow.
nice place as well to have a sip of something, or maybe.
And of course, you got to have a conical dome on the corner of, on every of the four corners of whatever that central building is in the middle of that bridge.
Is that on the canal? It looks like canal edges here.
It looks like canal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. They're missing the flags on their flagpoles, but I'm sure they'll get them up.
It was windy that day, and they didn't want them to get damaged, so they took them down.
Yeah. All right, one of the schools you'll see here, Central Ward West School. You can see here, demolished in the 60s.
It made it 101 years, and then they had to knock her down. Look at the cupola on that.
That's you know when recess is over, when they're ringing the bell up there, you can't miss it. Back to the
Wow.
classroom.
What a beautiful, beautiful school.
Nice, nice little picket fence in the foreground.
Well, you gotta support them lumber barons, Chris. Come on. Remember, lumber, man, lumber.
Yeah, yeah.
Forget about the brick and stone quarries and barons. No. Don't worry about them. It's the lumber barons for the Ottawa narrative.
Yeah. There's that Chateau Laurier. They say it was built in the 20s. I don't know. And the Grand Trunk, I think the 20s, maybe the teens, actually. Built by the railroads. We did talk about the Chateau Laurier in our Canadian Railroad Castles episode, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
That bit.
Absolutely, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Because every railroad in Canada, when they decided to build their railroad, or if it was the Transcontinental Railroad, they had to build hotels for some reason, I guess, even though they had sleeping cars on their trains.
Yeah.
But not only did they have to be hotels along the train line, but they had to be these castle-like, super opulent hotels.
Yeah. And nowadays, this is where dignitaries would go, right? Government guests of the government and things like that. Maybe a summit of some sort would be held in the Chateau Laurier Hotel.
Yep. Oh, yeah. When you get the Popeda or, I don't know, Orange Man Bad, or any of these folks that come into Canada land, that's where they're going to stay.
I like this one. It's giving us a view of the archways in the entry of the Chateau Laurier. The brick archways. This is very difficult. Looking very old, too, in this postcard.
It's got like a herringbone pattern to it or something.
And if you look at the cars, like, this would be not long after it was supposedly built. And I don't know. Looks a little bit weathered to me. But it's a postcard, so you never know. And you get these ones too. It's like a two-phase. This is supposedly 1912 Chateau Laurier, and they must tell us that here. They expanded on it and turned it into this. I often wonder how much trickery is going on with a lot of these photographs. Is it a way for them to bolster the narrative by showing us? I see it a lot with Capitol buildings as well.
Mm-hmm.
Added a wing, they added a wing, they added the dome later, that kind of stuff. It's like, I don't know. Can't really trust a lot of these.
Yeah, it would be really easy for them to fudge the photo and then, backpedal on the narrative and say, well, look how great we are. We built this in 1912. And then in the 20s, we were doing so great. We had to add a whole new wing to it.
Yeah.
When really they probably found the thing as it was.
Yeah, it's a lot of bridge work going on here too. A lot of elevated roadways, things of that nature.
Yeah, there's a lot of viaducts in Ottawa, I think. Not aqueducts that carries water. Viaducts are basically platform raised streets and ground levels.
Yeah, interesting. This is a little shot of the interior of the Chateau Laurier. Now, I don't like to take modern shots too often because I know that they do overhaul these places quite often, and they lose a lot of that character and charm as they do their renovations, as they say.
Yeah, that's right.
But we'll move on from the Chateau Laurier. It's certainly worth a deeper look, but we did do that in another episode. So here we have the Citizen Building. There you can see the timeline attached to that.
Phoenician shell detail up along the roof line there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very ornate and also looking kind of like it just stops, but it should probably keep going.
You know what? That main floor looks very stumpy and stout as well. Looks like it should be another 5 feet down there at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
It just looks funny right there.
Well, especially if you compare it to the window pattern above it. We have three
Yes.
windows, and then you have that middle portion, and then you have the lower three. I don't know. It looks, and then you have this part here. That part's missing, obviously. It's down below ground.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And even the doorway, it looks mighty stout. And normally in these old world buildings, we see really tall, opulent doorways, right?
Yeah, it looks almost square as opposed to a large rectangle or even an
Yeah, yeah,
arch.
yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah. Conservatory of Music 03 to 1960 with a little bit of fuggery, if you will, around the outside of the building. Yeah, they had to get rid of this, I guess. 1960, they tore this one down. Looking
So that's
perfect.
a what, a conservatory of music. See, they could have designated that as a school, a courthouse, here in Canada land anyways, right? Because it could have been designated as a hospital.
Pretty little building though, that's for sure.
It's nice.
The old roundhouse is gone. CPR roundhouse. Grabbed an aerial shot of that. 1883 to 1968.
This is another thing. I think there were a lot more of pre-reset were these railroad roundhouses.
Well, there would have had to have been with all the cars they had floating around, right next to the stables, of course, early on, roundhouses with the horse.
It's just very efficient way to store your vehicles, the engines, the box cars, the caboose. One section of the roundhouse would be the garage to do repairs and so on and so forth. It's super efficient. And then you have the turntable, so it's really easy to slide stuff into each designated slot.
Yep. Spin it around, send her back out.
Yeah. I think a lot of towns and cities had these. I know Calgary used to have one, and it's long gone.
The Customs House or the Connaught Building, two designations on this one. Built in that time period, that very popular time period in Ottawa. You shared a story or two from that time period. They were building castles. There it is in the
all the time in the world to whack up a bunch of castles.
Yeah, the old Customs House, they say. Why not make it look like a castle in the 19 teens? No problem.
And that's, again, adjacent to Parliament Hill with the Capitol building and so on.
Interesting pattern here too. Very smooth looking stone on the corners and sort of bulginess going on in the body, if you will. Very well constructed though.
Yeah, very interesting.
The Daily Building, don't have a date on that, but I do believe it is gone, long gone. Water tank on top too. You see the water tanks on a lot of the old photos. I think that's a water tank. I could be wrong.
It kind of looks like one, yeah. I love the coining effect that they do not only down the corners of the building, but in between all the sets of windows too. And that already looks like, I bet you at one time it had arched windows and they've already squared them off at this point, maybe.
Interesting pattern. The smooth rough. It's like no detail is spared. It's not just a building. It's not just a rectangle. There's so much going on. Even in this old black and white photograph, that giving us some details. Like why on earth would you put that much effort into Daily Building? I assume is some sort of just retail of some sort.
Yeah, it's probably retail space in the main floor and office space above or something. Yeah.
The Department of Interior Offices, long gone. Don't have the dates. Got rid of it, of course.
What a beauty.
Now
Department of the Interior, really? Okay. Sure.
They had to put these finial type things at the peak of these apparently, and just the detailing going on all on the front here. Be nice to see a close-up of what all this is. Arch windows.
Excuse me, I'm just gonna have a sip of my beer here, eh?
And of course elevated entryways, of course.
It's still hot here right now, man. It's still super hot out right now.
Yeah, it's dog days of summer, as you said. The Dominion United Church, this one's long gone. And again, more strangeness. It's like someone's outlined the building and given us just a photograph of the church, but very little um, evidence of this one. Look how high the door is here. It's quite tall, the entry.
That's quite the tower on that thing too. But yeah, the door is real. I mean, normally it's nothing in a church to supposedly, 12-foot door, and you just kind of, you've always seen it, so you kind of accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the excuse, well, it was built so opulent for the glory of God or whatever. But yeah, okay, I get it. But why do you need a 15 or 20-foot door?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. Another church that's gone, the Dominion Methodist. And this one makes me think the tower was taller at some point. Doesn't feel right to me.
It probably looked a lot like the one you just showed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, almost like this part.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it is the same one. Hold on a second. We just discovered.
What
It
did
is the same.
they redesignated it?
Yeah, you're right. They took this part off, and you can see
And it
it's the
went
same.
from a United Church to a Methodist church.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean,
But
they're
it
both
looks.
Protestant, but
Am I wrong,
still.
or is this is the same church, isn't it? I think so. Yeah. So they definitely
Yeah,
removed the tower at this point and
they
changed the
removed the
designation.
cupola on the tower and they changed the designation. Yeah,
Yeah, the
busted.
Methodists took it from the United. Maybe it's they merged. Who knows?
Why is the word Dominion so common in Canada? Because we were known as the Dominion of Canada because um, we were part of the British Commonwealth, so we were a Dominion of the Crown. We were under British rule. In fact, technically, the monarch, we still recognize the British monarch as our monarch, although technically we're not ruled by the monarch anymore. It's very muddy.
I have a Dominion Street in our downtown here. Yeah, it's pretty common.
Yeah, I'm not surprised actually.
Yeah, another school demolished in the 50s.
Man, I wish I could have gone to a school like that.
Check the roof line out here. You see those curves and those angles? Ooh,
Yeah, that ain't easy, is it, bud?
no, no, that is pretty ornate just for a stupid bell. You could just hang a bell off the side if you, or have a little bell down here. You don't have to go to all that trouble just to bring the kids in from recess and lunch.
Right? I know. It's a good thing they have that fence around there, so when the school marm climbs up to ring the bell, she doesn't tumble over the edge.
Yeah, yeah, right. Oh, this is a fairly prominent cathedral, Christchurch Cathedral. Um, 2-year build time, maybe 1.5. Hard to know when exactly they started, but we do cathedrals in 1 or 2 years here in Canada, folks. We don't need 400 years to build a cathedral.
All you need is a couple of Canadians and a case of beer, and we'll get her done there, eh, buddy?
Yep. 1870s. Here's some of the interior.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been dumbed down too. It was probably a lot more embellished at one time.
Absolutely. You can tell
Those
that
stark white walls are very suspicious to me.
aren't they? Yeah. Cover up. I smell a cover up.
It's still beautiful though.
Yep. There it is in the modern day, looking like it could be 1,000 years old.
Yeah, if you were to say that was in Scotland or France or something, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I believe you. And then, nah, psych, it's Ottawa.
Built in the 1300s. Yeah. There it is again. And we have a fire station. One of several we'll see here. You can see the timeline. It's the 60s, the 20s. Those are 2 decades where they were taking a lot of these down.
Very interesting triangular shapes on the towers with that, I'm assuming looks like a portal in the middle. It looks very much like a pyramid with an eye in it. You know what I mean?
Over the town. Yeah, definitely. Fraternal of some sort. Fire station. Another fire station. This one certainly looks like it's been, whatever was up here is gone.
Yeah, they monkeyed with it, I think.
But nice
Like how it just
brickwork.
says fire station. It doesn't say fire station number 3 or number 4.
Well,
Just
it's
fire station.
it's got number 3 up here, but the
Oh,
lettering on the fire station looks like crap compared to the building.
I didn't even see the number up there.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I started going on a rant for nothing. Sorry. Sorry, folks.
This is weird too. Like is that a door to half covered door going on over here in the neighboring
I don't
portion?
know what that is.
Anyway, we'll keep moving. We'll keep moving. The First Baptist Church. You can see it because it's got a nice sign here that says the First Baptist Church.
That looks like the Knox United Church here in Calgary, all built out of old stone.
Yeah. Yeah. 800 years old. Yeah. That's the Gilmore Hotel. So yeah, I do believe it was a fire. So this, what is that? Fire number 6 now? Remember I showed earlier the Gilmore Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a fire, and then apparently they tore it down and renovated or built upon the foundation of what was there, and put the Alexandra Hotel in there.
Always ask why 420 in the chat says, hey, I grew up in Ottawa, and my grandmother, who was in a wheelchair, used to take me around the city with an architecture book. We did this for years while I was growing up. Ah, very cool.
Interesting. I wonder if she was around or he was around for a lot of these buildings that were torn down in the 60s.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if you remember some of these when they still stood.
Now, this one
I was in love with old buildings, and Ottawa to this day has heaps of old buildings that make you question the narrative. Now that I'm older, yes, see, indeed.
So even though they got rid of a lot of these, there's a lot they didn't get rid of. Yeah. The old printing bureau, 87 to 67. I found this interesting looking at this wall in the foreground with its different size stones. There's another wall here. A lot of rock walls going.
Well, I think Ottawa was a star city because there are a lot of walls that are partially buried that basically go around not only, the whole Capitol Hill area, but around the older parts of Ottawa as well.
And there's a reason it's the capital as well. It's a power hub of some sort.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Here we have the Grey Nuns convent, excuse me. With the children, all the little group of children out front.
Nuns are awesome builders. I just got to say that. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. But you know what I mean. I mean, that's convents and churches are quite amazing if you just consider that there's hardly anybody in them most of the time. A church, you get, like on a Sunday, you get a lot of folks in them, but other than that, not so much. And convents, you got like a few dozen nuns in there, and that's it. But there are always these massive, opulent, not only structures, but like compounds or complexes too, where there's multiple buildings.
Yeah. It's a lot for a charitable organization to be throwing those structures up, for sure. So the Hope Building demolished in 28. Now this one we can dissect a little bit if we look into the foreground. You get kind of the remnants of maybe a brick or stone clad street below the dirt. And then you get the wooden, looks like a temporary sidewalk again.
Yeah, again, it looks wooden sidewalk. But then there's metal street lights plunked into a wooden sidewalk. What looks like a wooden sidewalk.
Yeah, good point. And
now, I don't know if that's gas or electric. I don't know, but...
Yeah, but usually there's some sort of tapering going on at the bottom. And this is going obviously below the wood. You know what I mean? Like a street light doesn't just end.
Yeah, they built the sidewalk around the street light as opposed to mounting the street light on the sidewalk.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
It's funny how that building, that one arched window right there on the corner of the building, it's got those 3 circular things like we see in a lot of church windows.
Yeah.
But it's unusual to see it in what I'm guessing is a retail shop on the main floor there.
And all of these are built in the same manner. You can see the stone, all of them. Remember we talked about the lumber being the big industry?
Yeah. It's
must
not
have
very
felt
apparent in these photos, is it? Except for the sidewalks,
they must have felt
Yeah.
slighted, those lumber barons.
right? Lumber barons are like, wait a sec, I'm supposed to be a robber baron with lumber here. I'm not making a lot of money. What's going on? And they look over at the stone baron guy. He's just winking at him.
Exactly, yeah. Another bank, the Imperial Bank, demolished in 31. Oh, so many
Jeez.
Union Jacks.
There must have been a king or queen or somebody visiting or
Maybe
something.
that's why they took the photos. Yeah, possibly.
I find a lot of times when there's the buildings are decorated with Union Jacks in the old, because the Canadian flag used to be the Union Jack, by the way, folks. So in a lot of the old photos, if it's super decorated with Union Jacks, it's probably because there's some visiting royal,
Mhm,
the prince of this or the queen of that, and so on and so forth.
mhm. And another public school, Galatian Public School. Look at all the kids out there, up for the photograph.
Yeah, come on, kids. We're gonna sit down outside and get our photograph taken. Now you gotta sit still for 3.2 minutes. Don't smile.
Mhm. Yeah. The old Knox Presbyterian.
You know, I think that in almost every city there's a Knox church.
Mhm. Looking very decapitated to me. Like it
Yeah,
probably was taller.
and looking very old too, like very old.
Very old again. Yeah, all the churches we've seen. And
Looking
there's,
quote unquote medieval, right?
yep, and there's a pipe organ on the inside and decorations, columns built into the walls. Just
That's
a
a
bit
massive organ.
modernized. But yeah, like you said, and again, with the flat painted walls, made to look plainer than it probably was. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably had frescoes and paintings all on those walls and murals, and you know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Another Knox church, not the same one, demolished in 38. Again, the 1870s. Now we've seen probably a half a dozen at least that were built 1872 to 1874. So this looks like a reset timeline that they're throwing into the narrative here. 1870s, giving us an excuse to build all this stuff in such a short period of time. Beauty, though. This is a beauty as well. Look at that's not a cross. It's a church. Why don't you put a cross up there?
Yeah, it's some kind of weird, elaborate shapes to it. It doesn't look like
Hmm.
a cross at all.
And of course, they took the tower portion off again. I would say they did not finish this flat and square at that point. There was something similar to this on this tower here as well. Would be my estimation.
Yeah,
Yeah, once you see enough of these, you start to see it everywhere, right? So the Langevin block, this is what we saw earlier. I think it's also called the East Block. I could be wrong on that. Ottawa people, let me know. Um, this was supposedly completed in 1889. This photo is supposedly from 1890, so right after it was completed. This photo was taken, we're told. I know it's a bit grainy, but
that's a massive building, man.
yeah, fortress. There it is in the modern day, just to give you a sense of scale. Ooh, 1880s they're building this in Ottawa. And then look at the lower areas too, looking kind of scorched looking.
Yeah, there's some kind of weird discoloration and damage there. Yeah.
Mhm. But a fortress, that thing is not coming down unless, of course, a fire.
Yeah, yeah. If some sparks fly over the river from Hull, that thing's going down.
Look how deep the stonework is here too, going into the window. That's got to be a foot and a half to 2 feet from the glass to the outside face of the
Yeah,
wall.
yeah.
And then look how they lock together these stones. Like that's a single, so it looks like to be a single piece of stone. Maybe it's facading, but and then you're going to throw some look to be polished granite columns in the 1880s on the outside of your building. Cool story. East Block, yeah, okay. It looks like they used to call it the Langevin Block. So it is the East Block. Yeah, and there's a look with the old streetcar gents outside beauty of a building. Collegiate Institute, also known as Liscar. I think it's a high school. I actually had a student that went to this high school. Liscar. Um, had some interesting stories too to share about it. How nobody ever, no one was allowed on the top floor of the building, and they had all their rumors, of course, about what goes on the top floor of the school.
So it was off limits to students?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What about faculty?
Don't know.
Hmm?
I don't know.
Hmm.
Here it is in the modern day. Again, built in the 70s, 1870s, I believe. Yeah, 1874. Again, that year pops up. 1874. They're building like this.
And don't forget, we didn't officially become a country until 1876.
And what did we guess at the population?
Or sorry, 1867. My bad. 1867.
So they had 100,000 in 1901, and we figured turn the clocks back 25 years, you're probably in and around the 40,000 range.
Yeah, 40 to 60 maybe. Yeah.
Depending on the growth and all the rest of it.
Because don't forget, as soon as they built that canal, there was a huge boom there, buddy. So all the speculators bought up the land.
And then right at the same time, in a group of 2 or 3 years, they're throwing up churches, schools such as this one, all in a very short period of time in Ottawa. It's about 40 to 60,000. 1860 was 10K? What? Thanks for that.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
Have a good night, Kathy.
Yeah.
Kathy's got to hit the sack.
Thanks for joining us, Kathy. Kathy from Kentucky. Wellington Street. Nice wide street. Of course.
Almost as if they were anticipating streetcars and traffic. And we better build them wide now, boys. Because 50 years from now, there's going to be a lot of traffic and trolleys going through here.
Yeah, they were psychic. This is supposedly Macadam Road being built. Apparently, this is road work. They're building the road. They're going to start putting the pavers down or whatever it might be. I don't know. I thought I would share it.
Building the road, eh? Sidewalks are already there, but they haven't built the road yet.
Houses are there.
So I guess they're resurfacing the road?
Yeah, they must have got a bunch of bricks from the lumber supplier.
From the lumber baron. So all I see is a few guys with shovels.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any materials. There's a heap of crap here.
I don't even see a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. Good point. We'll keep moving. We're almost halfway. Got a big file here. Martin Orme Piano Factory. Does that look like a piano factory to you if I didn't have that up there?
No. If you were to ask me what this was, I would guess either a church or maybe a train station.
Yeah, a church.
But not a piano factory.
Yeah. 1876.
I mean, it's been repurposed as a piano factory, man. That was not originally built to build pianos. Come on.
1926, they took this thing down. Of course they did. Of course they did. Had to go.
Only 50 years, eh? Huh.
Yeah. Now this one's tagged as the Merchants Bank, but I'm not sure which one is the Merchants Bank. Maybe the one on the left, but again, look at the sloping going on and the openings down below.
Whatever the fancier one is, that's the bank.
Yeah.
Can guarantee it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. With all its multicolored, probably amazing in color. But all we get is the black and white, and we can speculate about the coloring of these places.
Oh, there's a good point. Orphan Annie says maybe they're covering up the brick and going to repave it with, the paving or concrete or blacktop or whatever, right?
Yeah. Or I also speculate maybe they're exposing the brick that was underneath too. And there's a layer of mud over everything. Exposing and repairing, possibly. Yeah.
Either way, we know that even I've gone to some small prairie Alberta towns that to this day only have a couple thousand people in them, and their main street either still is or at one time was a brick street.
A lot of trouble to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the Monumental National 06 to 61. Don't even know what that means. I don't know if that's a bank or it's just monumental or what
No
it is.
idea. It's a beauty, though.
Nether Bank. Look at that.
Wow.
National Bank. I don't think I've shown this. There's so many that look so similar, it's hard to tell. 1931, again, the 30s wholesale, 20s, 30s wholesale demolition, 60s, 70s wholesale demolition going on in
Yeah,
Ottawa.
they couldn't knock them down fast enough.
That's right.
Show me all the blueprints.
A concerted effort to erase the buildings of the past. This is the normal school. I think it became a teacher's college. Shot of the normal school. There might be a few other shots coming. Not sure what they're doing here in the foreground.
Doing some gardening.
Yeah.
There's more people with rakes here than there was on the road crew guys with shovels.
That's true. That's true. Good point. And this guy. And a more modern shot of the normal school, just to give you a sense of the quality of construction.
Look at that guy's shirt.
That's what you're looking at.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It looks like they used to have an arched window here, and they squared it off. Yeah.
See, yeah, nice catch on that. Yep.
And here, yeah. The old normal school. We got to make everybody normal. This is how we're going to do it. There's a nice shot of it. Overview of the, with the
That's
little
beautiful, man.
nice look. And the statues too, positioned all over the place.
Oh yeah, you gotta have statues, the big curved drive. You gotta have a bunch of cupolas with domes on them, and you know, because you're gonna be sitting all inside all day studying, but that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. All right, the Notre Dame Basilica. How do you like this one? Did I tell you all you need to know? It's in the background here.
Yeah, I know that spider. I've seen that before. That thing is like modern art these days is so just uninspiring and uninspired.
I find this crap all over the place. I think there's a lot of symbolism going on here. Like there's a claiming of the land and what potentially happened going on here. You can see started building this one in 1841 and then finished in 1865. There it is. Notre Dame Basilica.
At least that is a little bit more of a believable timeline, although I don't think the years are right. How many people
were there? 1840s in Ottawa. Jesus. Here's the interior. No, we're not in France. This is not Paris or Vienna. Look at the color too. Oh, here, I got a better one. Look at the color of the stone here.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like green marble, I'm guessing. Wow, man.
That's what and look at this. That's one piece. These are not separate circular columns.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any seams on it at all.
No, that looks like it's got a 90 in the inside here, then it's got a little bit of a circle and then a bigger circle. How the heck do you mill that up? I would love to know. My stone and tile friends out there, Kairos. How do you mill something like that up?
I mean, it's obvious. I don't mean I was staring at them, but I can't exactly control which direction my eyes go in all the time.
You could just stand in that place all day.
Yeah.
Just stand there and just look and look all day.
That was a better look of the altar and the woodwork and the statues. My God. Beautiful. 1840s to 1860s. Remember. All right. So that's the Notre Dame Basilica. Or Notre Dame, if you want to say it. The French version.
That's right. Oui, oui, ho, ho.
Observatory. Built in 02 to 05. I do wonder if this part was built in 02 to 05. Turned into an observatory.
Yeah, they just took a section of the dome out and put doors that they could open and close and then retrofitted with a telescope, I bet you. It was probably originally just, a regular dome like we see on Capitol buildings and so on.
So they can follow all the planets spinning around in space.
Well, they can watch out for the UFOs that are going to come and attack Ottawa.
No, they missed. They missed. Well, no, they did catch them. They just didn't know what they were. Yeah. And again,
What's the little? Why do you need a little observatory
the
beside the
mini-
big observatory?
That's the students go. The apprentices go in there.
Oh.
And the masters get to go in there.
Ah, yes, of course. How silly of me.
And you get a sense the quality of construction again. When you get the color modern day version that still stands.
Beautiful, man.
Look at the curves going on there from when it goes from octagonal to circular. Very interesting stonework there.
Whew.
Yeah, and then you have the clock with the 4 eyes instead of the IV for 4. We see this a lot as well. Here's the
People that tell me that Roman numeral 4 has always been 4 eyes, and I say no, it's an I and then a V, and they're like, no. I'm like, well, what's 9 then? It's IX, right? So why would they do 4 ones for a 4?
Yeah.
But do an IX for a 9.
Exactly.
And usually they just stare at me and they blink a couple of times and then they walk away.
No, I was taught it was always IV.
Yeah.
And I was taught by the Catholic nuns that made sure we knew. So I'm not mistaken. We weren't allowed to be mistaken. The old Supreme Court building, you can see here, 1874. Again, that same year. How many buildings now have we seen from 1874?
Well, they had to build all of Capitol Hill all in one go there, buddy.
All in a 3-year period, apparently. Yeah, this is gone. When did they say again? 56. They got rid of this one. Look at the bulgy stonework again on there.
And then the old tech on the dormers and stuff too, crazy.
Yeah. Orm Hall, 1900 to 1958. I believe it is this one here. But again, you're getting a lot of nice juice, a lot of decoration. No shortage.
Very exquisite.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I should show. I'm just going to show everyone, and I do have it linked in the description. But actually, before I go any further, I'm going to do another shameless plug.
Oh, you got to, man. Why not? Please do.
My 3rd book on demolished buildings in Old World North America has just dropped. I completed it a couple days ago, so it is available on Lulu. The link is through my. It is in the description, and it's also on my channel. Actually, we're going to see one of the buildings that are in this book. I'll mention it when we move forward. But there's a lot. There's so much that's gone now, and this is a way for me to preserve their memory, and it is also a way for you to support the work I do here on my channel. So that being said, this is the website I was talking about, kballantyne.ca. This is where I got a lot of these photos from. So actually, he's got them all. If I zoom in, he's got in a map form, and you can just click on the building, and they show you the photograph.
Great work. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is an amazing find. So that is in the description as well. But I wanted to show everyone where I got a lot of these from, because it's quite a treasure trove.
Yeah, because you were saying you were having a hard time before you found that site. Yeah.
It was all Parliament. It was all Parliament, and I couldn't find very much else. The observatory showed up, and then the normal school. But then once I found this, you start to get a lot more evidence of what once was in Ottawa. Here's the amateur athletics building demolished in 1933. Not too shabby. More evidence of the same construction, though. A ladies' college here, built in 1972. Here we go again.
Wow.
How fast were those stonemasons working to get these things up in those 3 years? We've seen a handful of churches, several other large constructions, a couple banks, all going up in that same early 1870s period. And
I think that stone had to be quarried and then brought on site as well. And then, it would be, measured and chipped down to the right size, and then it would be
and honed up,
put into place, right?
Oh yeah, there's so much work that goes into doing that type of stonework. And then, of course, you have to have enough people that are skilled enough to do it, to build all of those things at the same time. The old library lasted not much more than 50 years.
I think it's a Carnegie library too, if I'm not mistaken.
It does look very Carnegie. Yeah, I didn't see the Carnegie designation, but that could very well be the case. Yeah. And just another street shot. Wellington Street, beautiful, beautiful.
It's nice with the balustrades and the trees, you know.
So much care taken on how everything looks, and it's well taken care of. You can tell as well. More street shots. Oh, the city hall. Here's another fire. What are we up to? 7 fires now?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're at 6 or 7. I'm starting to lose count. It's so ridiculous. Wow. No wonder you had a hard time finding old buildings. They all burned it down.
Well, they're trying to bury it, I think. That's what I feel about it. The old city hall, 77 to 31. So in that same decade, they're building the old city hall, and the poor stone building goes up in flames in the 31. Yep. Just a streetcar shot, just to show you a bit of life, what life may have looked like 100 years ago or so.
Yeah, I love these candid snapshots.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, you know. Here's a nice look at there's that East Block or Langevin Block. That was 1889. They built that one, and then another building that's part of the Parliament complex in the foreground here. I don't know the name of it. I kind of glossed over Parliament once I found a lot of these other structures. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I mean, we could do a show just on the Parliament buildings.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And a lot of channels have, and I know you've in the past as well done deeper dives on just, you know, the actual, you know, what everybody knows as the Parliament building. I mean, it is quite an eyebrow raiser. Anybody who sees it, you know, the Canadian Parliament building on Capitol Hill is or Parliament Hill is pretty amazing.
There's a better look at there's the library out back, built by the Templars, apparently.
See, that's the original tower of the Parliament building, the Victoria Tower, that it looked like a crown.
Which they'll tell us was because of Queen Victoria.
Yes.
I would suspect we have some sort of energy harnessing going on here, and then we have a cover story that would be suspicious.
And then the fire destroyed it, and then when they rebuilt it, the tower is totally different now. They didn't rebuild it like this, probably because they couldn't. How'd they do that? I don't know. We'll just build like a Big Ben tower instead.
Yeah, we'll make it circular. I mean, not circular. We'll make it square or rectangular. Much easier to build. That's interesting little shape on top of the library there as well. Very ornate. This is an amazing structure.
Yeah, and you know that just goes so much deeper down.
Just looks like the tip. Yeah, and there it is. From the backside, a little bit closer look at the library, just to show you the building materials. I should have checked the date on when they built this too, but I would suspect it's quite early on in the narrative when they built this library.
Well, it was built supposedly at the same time as the original Parliament building. But when the Parliament building burnt down, the library didn't, because while it's part of the same complex, it's actually a separate building. So somehow, magically, it was spared miraculously.
And this is them showing us the construction of the, which would have been way back. It's not even the same shape.
No.
Yeah.
It's like they superimposed dome construction from another building onto the top of this and said, yeah, that's these guys whacking her up there, bud.
Yeah. Highly suspicious. Anyway, highly suspicious. We'll move on now. A few more residences. Purley home, or at least one, 1875 to 1938. They got rid of a lot of these in the 30s. These Victorian homes, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that's a shame too, because they're all so beautiful. Even the more modest, smaller ones are still, they have a lot of the same, they tick a lot of the same boxes, arched windows, mansard roof, opulent embellishments, even if it's only, I don't know, 1,200 square feet instead of a 5,000 square footer like that one, right?
The old police station, 1888, they built this, we're told. 1960s, they got rid of it. Very
It's with all the
tight.
stairs everywhere on that thing. What the heck, man?
Oh yeah, and you have a lower section here. Old police station. Gotta have the coppers involved. Oh, okay, now we get to the post office.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that.
Also built in the 1870s because they had just a ton of stonemasons in Ottawa in the 1870s. And burned down. There's fire number 8 now. And then I do have a shot of the aftermath of the fire. There we go. With all the icicles and quite something though.
What's with all these stone and brick buildings catching fire, man? Come on, dude. Come on, man.
Yeah, suspicious. There's a nice look at the surrounding area and the lower portion you can see here. And then what did you call them? Like aqueducts and raised
Viaduct.
walkway? Viaducts.
Yeah. It's
That's
basically the
implied.
same idea as an aqueduct, but aqueducts carried water over great distances, and viaducts are just basically raised streets and raised platforms that they would build buildings on, put green spaces on, and underneath is, basically the first floor or two or three, all of a sudden now become lower levels.
Yeah. And obviously this goes further down. I mean, you can just
Oh,
apply
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, you can see it right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the post office, fire number 8. And we're counting this episode. Protestant, I should say Protestant Orphans Home. Orphans Home. I saw someone asking earlier where did they have the orphans in Canada? Of course.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
built
we
this
had the asylums, we had the sanatoriums, we had the orphans and orphan trains, and
it's the
the
same story.
same narrative. Carnegie libraries, the whole bit.
We had the horse-drawn carriages or streetcars, and then we had the electrification. Doesn't matter where you look, it's the same story and a very similar timeline.
Yeah, they come up with these cockamamie stories, and then they just rubber stamp these narratives on cities, right?
Yeah. 1874 again. So we're almost up to probably 10 buildings that were built in 1874.
Oh, at least at this point, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Another look at the orphans' home.
And this only lasted 50 years. What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah. Oh, the Regal building, 1888 to 1944. Having a bit of a buried look again.
Yeah. See, when they put stone just around the very lower sort of, I don't know, 4 to 5 feet or so around there like that, I think the brick goes down, and they've just covered it with a thick stone tile to make it look like it's a foundation. It's just a phony foundation.
We call that
if you were to go with a sledgehammer and bash away that stone, you would find brick underneath it, like behind it.
I call that the Kylie Jenner. False bottom. False bottom.
Oh, wow. That's highly inappropriate, but yes.
Accurate, though, you got to admit. All right, the Rideau Club, 1911 to 1979. It says the Dominion Bank here on the front. We've already seen a Dominion Bank. At least one. Nice buildings here on the side as well. A lot of these blocks were just, like I showed on the map, they were just taken out. The Ross building. Here we get an 1890s date for construction. We haven't had a lot of those. Check out the detail on this sucker.
Yeah, that's a beauty.
Ross must have been done well for himself. Although his
Exquisite.
business, 1838, the business was established. I'm guessing.
Huh.
It's early.
I wonder where he started in 1838.
Probably in a little wooden shack on the same corner, and it burned down, and then they built this. It did well for himself in whatever line of work he did, and well enough to put granite columns on the exterior.
Oh, you gotta.
Second and third, first, second, and third floors.
Incredible, man.
All right, I threw this one in there. The Roxborough Apartments, 1910, 1966. And we are closing in on the end of the file, in case anyone's wondering. We got about 30 more photos to go. I told you I had a big file.
It's a pretty tall building for 1910 Ottawa, too, by the way.
It
You know,
is.
just as far as it's just a residential building, it's not an office building, or it's pretty. That's probably one of the tallest in the neighborhood if it's just an apartment building.
Also, the photograph has a horse and buggy out front, so this you have to assume that this was taken in the first 10 years of its life, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, it's an early photograph.
Still has really low windows there in the front, though.
Sure does. All right, we come to the Russell Hotel. Have you heard of the Russell Hotel?
No.
This is
Huge.
This is the one that shows up in my latest book. Yeah, this was the Regal Hotel in Ottawa, we're told, until the Laurier was built, we're told. You could see there's, another fire. What are we up to now? 9, I think. 9 fires. This one only stood for 45 years. Yeah, built in 1880. And I do have, again, another look at the skeleton of what was left behind. Strange photographs, just having these pieces just sticking up like they didn't want to fall or anything like that.
Even that ladder to the far left there, too, with the guy sitting on it, just at the top where he's sitting, it looks weird, too. You know what I mean?
Strange imagery that we're given from these
Looks
fires.
like it's been altered a bit.
But that's the Russell Hotel, and it is a beauty for sure. Let's take one more look at it. Russell Hotel. All right, we have another church, Sacred Heart Church. This actually is a beauty too. As you zoom in closer, you get a sense of how well built it is. Again, stone going all the way to the very peak. We're told 1910 they built this, tore it down in the 70s. I don't know about 1910. Very ornamental though. Nice looking church. St. Bridget's Church on the corner of St. Patrick and Cumberland Streets. Built in 2 years, 89-90, maybe a year.
They built that in 2 years?
That's all it took.
It was super easy, barely an inconvenience.
It would take us 2 years to build the tower.
Yeah, man. It'd take you almost 2 years just to dig the foundation and get all the footings poured, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
There it is.
And the drifters have such beautiful awnings. Yeah. It's always the best part is the awnings they slap on these beautiful buildings.
And there's a look at the interior of St. Bridget's. Again, flattened with a flat color.
Yeah.
A little bit of detail back here, a bit of color, but that looks like all brick there too. If you look closer, brick or stone, painted probably. Come to St. Patrick's Basilica. 5-year build time on this. They were a bit lazy on this one.
Yeah, they were dragging their heels on that one.
I think that's St. Patrick's, the whole package, just to show you guys. Yeah, I don't know. Looks a bit stunted here too. Like this was maybe taller. Speculative.
Yeah, it looked like it should be like 40 feet taller.
But that's the stonework involved in 1860s to 74. 74 again. Built the same year as at least 10, maybe a dozen now. Structures built in the same year. There's the interior of St. Patrick's Church.
And they still try to tell us that lumber was the main industry in Ottawa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Scaffolding. It's
Wonder
all
how
about
many I wonder how many rock quarries and brick factories there were in Ottawa. I should look that up.
Well, I'm sure they just shipped them via the canal. That's what they'll tell us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. They could come from anywhere.
All right, the second byward market. We did see a market earlier. This was demolished in the 50s, but that's a stone and brick building as well. Beauty. Just a market though. And
I just checked on the goggle machine, and it says while the exact number of quarries in Ottawa during the 1880s isn't readily available, so the interwebs has no idea.
No, they'll give us an explanation one of these days. I just thought I'd illustrate the snow issues that they get in places like Ottawa. There's the sled, looks like a horse-drawn sled.
Yeah.
And the man with the old spade. So if you thought building these would have been easy in 1 or 2 years, think again. You've witnessed.
The Google machine also says that in the 1880s, Ottawa had at least one known brickyard.
Okay, that's a busy.
Because I asked how many brick factories did Ottawa have in the 1880s, and they said they had one brickyard.
A brickyard. A yard of brick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just, whatever buildings they couldn't save, they just piled all the bricks into this big area and called it a brickyard. Yeah, we made those bricks. Yeah.
Winter Street scene for you there. St. Joseph's Church. Long gone, almost 100 years since this one stood.
That's another big one, too.
1992 to 1930. And yeah, it's a beauty. It's very decorative up here, and again, stone to the peak. St. Joseph's, ghost of the past. St. Luke's Hospital. It's 1898 to 1929. I thought this one was interesting. Is this supposed to be like a garden, or is this thing just growing?
That's a good question. It could be a garden, I guess, up there. It does look open. So
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. But I thought I would include it.
What's going on with those two? Can you go back to that hospital for a sec? What's with those two openings at the front of the stairwell there?
Down underneath
at the bottom. Yeah, right there. What in Sam Steele's going on there?
Yeah, good point. Maybe there's.
So we now know that there's a big hollow empty cavity under those stairs, which means either that door was way taller, or they made a window into a door, and the original door was under what's now stairs. At least in my estimation.
Actually, this whole area over here also does look like it's glassed in from down here. It could be trees coming from much lower than there, like a green, like you said earlier. They have these.
Like an atrium or something.
Yeah. Interesting. St. Luke's Hospital. We get to an orphanage at last. St. Patrick's Asylum and Orphanage. 1870s.
For crazy kids and normal kids.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, there they all are, lined up for a picture.
Look how many stairs you got to go up to get into the main entrance. But you know there's openings down underneath there, so why bother?
Yeah, good point.
You can send a bunch of kids going up a dozen stairs in Ottawa in the winter.
Even
ice and snow,
This is strange here too, this dropped window above it. Yeah, weird. But at least the lumber guys are getting in on the fence action here. They got a nice looking fence there.
Yeah. And they were able to build that nice terrace out of wood too. So sure, there you go. That'll keep the lumber barons happy for a little while.
Yeah. Here we have the stonemasons doing their thing. This is how they shaped all the stones for all these buildings we've been seeing.
Because it's real safe to wear a necktie while you're swinging hammers and chisels on the job site. that's not going to get caught in anything.
Looks like they've got a ways to go before they smooth these old stones out. Action shot with the hammer too.
Yeah, Jean-Claude's going to be tapping away at that for a while.
Yeah. Ah, the Templar building. Not a church. It's a well, kind of is. Depends on your opinion, I suppose. But
I
this
bet
is
you
a
it used to be a church and they just co-opted it.
yeah, and then took whatever was above here off. But very tight stonework, of course, because the Templars know how to work stone. And then this is Sir John A. Macdonald's proof that he is Knights Templar. I thought I'd throw that one in there as well.
Sir John A., our first
Prime Minister.
prime minister, or the first leader of our nation. He was also a member of the Orange Order, and he was a Freemason. And he liked his gin and whiskey, from what I understand, which is fine. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. They took him off our $10 bill, though. I don't like that.
They did, yeah.
I do not like that. They should have, like, our first prime minister. First of all, he was only on the lousy 10, for crying out loud. But okay, that aside, they take him off, and now, but they didn't put him on anything else. He's just poof. He's not on our money anymore. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Got to get rid of the story before people catch a scent.
Oh, speaking of money, there's the castle where they print all our money.
Yeah, our old Canadian mint. Or printed when they actually printed money.
Yeah, that's true. Now they just strike, collector's coins.
Yeah.
Get your new Canadian silver dollar. It's got a moose on it.
There's the Titus block, 1875, again, right in that same time period, demolished in 1929. They got rid of this. Interesting.
Jeez.
There you got some nice layering on the sidewalk. See how that's pretty high. That's over a foot of a step from the sidewalk down to the street, I would say.
Looks like a wooden sidewalk built on top of a pre-existing sidewalk.
Sure
Or it looks like maybe there was something there, and then they built something, and then they faced it with wood or something. Like, yeah, there's three things there.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. A little sidewalk sandwich for you.
A what?
What did you say?
I like that. I'm going to steal that from you now. I'm going to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Keep an eye out for the sidewalk sandwiches. Yeah.
Delicious.
All right, we have a university building. Actually, have a better. There's an nice old photo for you. I suspect that there was maybe a more prominent dome above this. I could be wrong, but it feels flat to me, and this feels like...
Yeah, it looks like it's been dumbed down already at this point. It's still magnificent, though. I mean, this is what, a university building?
University building, yeah. I didn't get a date on it, but
man, this could be a government building. Just by the designation of how it looks, we would normally say, "Oh no, that's the Senate Library," or you know what I mean?
Yeah. We're coming to the end of the file, so I threw in the Union Station. There it is. There, this massive columns, and we did see this one, I think, in your segment, the Memorial Museum. Victoria Memorial. I think they temporarily used it as Parliament.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Looking a lot like a cathedral.
Or an armory.
Or an armory.
Or a castle.
Yeah. But it did change over the years. Here's the next iteration.
Yeah, see, they knocked down some stuff and goofed around with it.
Now this is just the front entry, but they've obviously flattened all of this. Just turn it into this here, and then in the modern day, it looks like this.
Ugh. Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah. Hard lines, square, hard lines. And you know what you can find in there? All sorts of goodies like this.
Ah, there's your dead dinosaurs.
And this.
Ah, of course you gotta have that.
You get all sorts of narrative if you go.
Can't do without that.
Surrounded by the old world structure, of course. All right, the Victoria Chambers, 1850. That's very early. To
Victoria
1970.
Chambers. What does that even mean?
Some sort of, I'm guessing legal, but I'm not sure. Or
Huh.
just places to sleep. This looks like it's maybe not part of the original. This is strange looking on the corner here.
I'm wondering if they eventually put an elevator in it, so they had to put that top portion
Maybe.
to accommodate the elevator.
And then probably bricked in or blocked in some of the stuff here. Seems a
Oh
bit
yeah,
strange.
they goofed with that for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, Victoria Chambers. The W.C. Edwards General Offices. I almost said store. 07 to 65. There you can see what looked to be brick type roads, maybe covered in
Yeah,
a thin layer of dirt.
there's a
Or
pooper scooper guy.
or road apples, yeah. I like this one too because this one in the background here.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting phallic looking structure.
Yeah, that's very strange looking.
Yeah, unique. And I didn't see this structure anywhere else, so I wanted to include that there too.
There's those beautiful awnings everybody loves so much.
Yeah, stay out of the sun. Western Methodist Church, 1873, again in the same time period, 1964. Interesting elevation issues going on here. You got a lower section, obviously, below here.
Yeah,
Looking like this front square door was built after.
yeah, because it looks like garbage compared to everything else.
Exactly. And then some nice tech on the top here. All right, last photo for you guys. William Topley Studio, 1875 to 1950s. A lot of buildings
Wow.
looking like this.
Yeah, that's a beautiful old world estate home.
Yeah.
So this is somebody's studio. So he was a photographer, an artist of some kind. Is that what they're trying to tell us? And this was just his studio. I just go in there to paint. I don't do anything else in there. I just paint.
Surrounded by gable roof, very New World looking structures. And just an old world on the corner sticking out. And also, this looks like it's maybe open air, or not open air, sorry, glass, possibly.
Yeah, yeah.
Looks interesting as well.
What a beautiful place, man.
Mm-hmm.
A studio, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, take off. Eh?
So that concludes my
studio.
file.
That's amazing, my friend. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot going on. A lot gone from Ottawa.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about doing this type of old world exploration, if you pardon my pun, is that you find so many buildings that have either been dumbed down or altered so terribly that they're just become an eyesore, or they've just knocked down, burned down, whatever goofy excuse they can to destroy these things, and it's a bummer, man. It's kind of a bummer,
Yeah, but we're preserving their memories by documenting it and putting it out there for people to see. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah, and that's kind of the main reason for your books. You should pop that back up there one last time. Your third book.
Right. I feel like a salesman now.
No, come on, man. It's important work, and I know it's not. It takes time to collate all of this information and put it together.
Yeah, it's just a collection. 100 More Demolished Buildings, Old World North America. The third edition has just been released, and another collection. There are more than 101 in this one. I gave you some bonus buildings in there, but I thought after my first book, these things would diminish. Okay, that's not so interesting looking. But all I found is actually just more structures that are just amazing that no longer stand. There was so much more here in North America than we're being told. And if you enjoy my work, then this is one of the ways to support what I do. So
excellent. I would highly encourage you to if you haven't already, go to Chris's channel's homepage at Old World Exploration and his links and everything, how you can get the first 2 copies of that book, as well as that new third one, and your other book that's was a collaboration as well. It's all available from your homepage, right?
Yep. It's all there in the about section.
Fantastic. Man, what a great show. I had a blast.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Ottawa would be a mind bender. I didn't
Yeah.
realize it would be so tough to find the old stuff, but the stumbling blocks, right? They do it on purpose, I think.
Yeah. They jammed way too many builds into a very short period of time for it to be believable, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah. You found at least a dozen and a half, if not more, just in that one file you shared that were all built in that same, 1 to 2 year period, 1874, 75.
Yeah.
Like just like where's this workforce coming from? And they would say, oh, they would come in by train or they'd come in from other cities or towns, following the work. Well, yeah, but they're banging up buildings in these other cities and towns too.
Uh-huh.
So it just doesn't make any sense to write that off as an excuse. It's mental cheetah flips to try and explain everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, outstanding. So there you go, everybody. Great show. Knuckleheads, episode 17, Ottawa, Ontario, up here in Canada. And again, links below for everything that I covered at the top half of the show. And then all of the links for everything for Chris and his channel down below as well. So please, if you haven't, just double check to make sure that you're still subscribed. And of course, do all the other things. If you're subscribed to Chris, I would greatly appreciate if you come over and subscribe to my channel, New West Reset. And if you're subscribed to me and you haven't subscribed to Chris at Old World Exploration yet, first of all, what's wrong with you, bud? Get over there. Please do so. And we try to do these shows as often as we can. And if you have any suggestions for any place that you would like us to cover in Canada, or when we do our road trips once in a while, we'll do like, I don't know, Scotland or England or Japan or something. Let us know either in the chat or in the comments below. Please. Always great to hear from you and always willing to explore any of your suggestions. So there you go, everybody. What projects you working on, Chris, before we wind it down?
My next video will be on Madison, Wisconsin, another city with ridiculous architecture. I've got a live chat on Saturday with Jake Weiland. He's been on my channel before. He's got some really interesting insights. He's going to share some locations in Florida that he finds very suspicious. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be in the AM on Saturday. And I'm doing another live next Tuesday with Kairos. We're going to go.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So getting back into the swing of things as summer winds down and all the trips sort of subside, all the summer trips with the kids and all the rest of it. So should be more content coming out from my channel.
Yeah, and as the kids go back to school and the building season, as we mentioned, we don't do a lot of building in Canada in the winter, so it frees up a bit of your time as well, right? So that's great. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I've got my feature-length documentary film coming out very soon here, probably in about a month or so. Reset 1700, which is my attempt at explaining what occurred to result in the last reset, the most recent last reset here in Western Canada and the Pacific Northwest of the United States.
We should do a show on that.
I'm very excited about it.
Watch party show, you and I. It would be fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely, when I get it all done, I'm going to release it as a like on a live, so everybody can watch it together. And we can comment while we're watching it, and then I'll just re-release it probably in 5 parts or something afterwards. Yeah. Then of course the weather's still nice here right now, so still doing a lot of boots on the ground. And I try to expand further from my home base in the summer when the weather's nicer. And then once winter comes around, I keep a few places close by in my neighborhood, kind of in my back pocket, that I can explore even when it's a cold wintry day out there.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's going to do it. What do you say, bud?
Yeah, I think we're there. Until next time.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate all of your support. And until the next one, Take care. Have a good one. All right. Cheers, everyone.
I'm in love with the old world. 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 Love your old world ways.
I think that was like our best show ever.